Lagi lah gue main. Lagi.
Wih, biawak.
Lagi ya.
Anak jenderal gini guys.
Anak jenderal ini. Kenapa anak jenderal?
Anak biawak lagi.
Anak jenderal kemana ini? Anak jenderal keluar dia. Lepaskan aku. Bentar. Kau di sana, aku di sabaranmu. Gas, kita 2 squad ya.
Gas.
Aduh.
Suara.
Kenapa?
Mudahan nggak ngebug suara.
Lu kenapa sering ngebug?
Udah tahu splitternya kayaknya. Anu splitter yang sambungannya.
Lu masih pakai HP yang HP?
Maybe. Tes.
Punya gue dijual Ron, 11 Pro Max gue Ron. Pinter laku
Ya.
berapa ya? RAM-nya 256, menurut lu laku berapa tuh?
5 atau 6 deh kayaknya. Kisaran segitu.
Soalnya kan, halo Axel. Soalnya kan kalau
4 atau 5 mungkin.
soalnya kalau iPhone sebenarnya kalau khusus game doang mah nggak dibuat hari-hari mah nggak bakalan nge-frame ya.
Biar nampak kalau cuma khusus game tahan cak.
Iya, khusus ya kan. Intinya jangan dibuat kayak sosmed dan lain-lain, biar nggak foto. Gua kalau jual 5 juta laku nggak? 5 juta pas.
Bisa jadi soalnya Inter.
Iya, gua Inter, tapi pakai kartu bisa.
Iya.
Nggak
Bisa pakai kartu kan tapi tetap Inter cak.
Katanya ada orang yang pintar tapi nggak
Soalnya
bisa pakai kartu.
pasarannya sudah turun.
Axel, main Axel. Bang Axel. Oh, pasaran udah turun ya?
Soalnya 16 Pro Max kan sudah masuk Indo kan, jadi pasarannya tambah turun.
Watch out!
Pembukaan turun.
Lu kagak gawe, Ron? Biasanya gawe lu pagi-pagi.
Enggak, lain-lain.
Gua nggak kepake nih HP gua yang ini. Cuma buat baca komen doang anjir. Nggak laku kali ya?
Bisa sih. Jual ke anu aja, ke yang
Counter kan?
teman. Kalau counter malah murah, Cak.
Gua di counter ditawarin 4 juta, Cok.
Tuh kan?
Dia bisa jual 5 juta kayaknya ya. Counter begitu ya?
Iya, iya. Dia pasti nyari untung.
Iya deh, 4 juta sini gitu. Lengkap lagi ini. Bagus dan lain-lain. Masalahnya ini RAM-nya 256, bukan yang kan dia 164 sampai 256 kan?
Nah,
Gue yang 256 ini.
128.
128 sama 256 kan? Gue yang lebih
512.
gede.
Bisanya ya. Hampir mati depan muka.
Apaan sih anjir?
Don't
Bak
give
sih
up.
gua.
Your teammates can still recall you.
Gawe
Ini
bang.
mati nih.
Ya udah. Gawe.
Awesome.
Pagi-pagi udah. Tidak apa-apa, tidak apa-apa. Biasa. Pertama. Pertama mulai. Game pertama, guys. Masih di sini. Bang Axel dinas di mana Bang Axel? Kantornya di mana? Kantornya di mana Bang? Lah, bot itu Ron.
I'm recalling a teammate.
Di rumah air deh juga ada.
Thanks.
Kayaknya bot. Coba pakai ada skinnya cuy helmnya.
Iya sih. Awas ntar. ABD.
Di rumah air ada orang. Bot kayaknya. Di atas empor itu, Cak. Udah ambil empor tadi.
Oh dia kalau tinggi gitu nggak bakalan ini ya, nggak bakalan kalau pakai parasut gitu dia nggak bakalan kena darah ya. Delapan ya?
Ada kali 8. Empor di kotak yang satunya tadi.
Marked a location.
Kalau tinggi nggak bakalan mati.
Ada Titan tuh di kotak bot. Titan.
Nggak tahu gua kenapa ya males
Apa
banget
ini?
pakai Titan ya.
Watch
Bilang
out.
aja,
Dia gampang mati
ada
nggak sih?
70 koin. Kalau banyak yang nembak cepat mati. Ini nih koin nih. 40 tuh kubuang.
I got supplies.
Gak bisa beli flash ya?
Lu mau kok duit lagi kah? Nih. Oh dia cuma sekali.
Udah.
Sekali doang.
Cukup aja. Orang kan lain tuh tadi di jembatan. Sebelah kanannya.
Watch
Sebelah sini
out.
tadi.
Attack the mark.
Oh lain, Cak. Boneka.
Berubah menjadi Titan. Oh kalau jadi Titan itu ada perubahan gitu ya?
Perubahan maksudnya?
Itu tadi ada gambarnya.
Gak tau.
Nama ini berubah jadi Titan. Kok suntikannya ada 2 ya, Ron? Kenapa nih?
Satu serum.
Hah?
Gak paham juga.
Coba. Ada 2, Cuk. Salah apa suntik? Oh, Titan yang bagus ini, Eren. Widih. Gila, Titan Eren nih, bro. Anjay. Titan Eren, bro.
Watch out! Marked a location.
Gak bisa loncat situ, Ron. Gak bisa loncat, Ron.
Nggak bisa kah? Di school. Di apartnya.
Tuh, Titan itu tuh ada perubahan tuh.
Ini mobil, Cak, mobil. Sama aku.
Ya, kejaran, Cuk. Bisa hancur, Ron.
Aku ngejar mobil, Cak. Dia balik ke apartemen tuh. Arahnya. Ke arah rumah recall deh. Hilang.
Mana dia?
Ini, Cak, depan bagi. Ini bagi depan gue.
Ada temannya, ada temannya.
Ramai mobil.
Aku jalan.
Yang bagi tadi lewat kamu juga kah?
Kanan dia. Berhenti dia.
Di situ.
Watch
Tetap di
out!
sini, Cak. Kayaknya.
Enggak. Help, help, help.
Jalan.
Mana Jul? Bensinnya habis.
Recall rojok. Garasi
Watch
sini
out.
aja, kita ada mobil. Ini ada
Watch
bagi sih,
out.
bagi kita di sini. Nih di kiri bawah bagi kita.
Kan dulu ya.
Nge-recall temannya sih tadi. Ngepran.
Ini ya.
Kayaknya. Rumah air.
Oh ya, ini ada mobilnya. Mobil apa sih kan?
Tadi kan bagi.
Nah, di sini ada mobil. Mobil apa ya? Mobil rusak.
Mana, Cak?
Mana Jul? Internet udah aman Jul. Wah, tuh lagi. Titan Ron, ada Titan Ron.
Wah, kecak. Peluruku sedikit.
Help!
Ada tuh. Anjir, misu. Misu. Rame Ron.
I got the Quadra Elimination Medal.
Intel anjas. Jir, jauh Ron.
Ini nyampe.
Sasageo,
Enggak kali nyampe
sasageo.
enggak.
Ngambang sih, harus ngambang.
Satunya mana? Oh, ini di kanan. Sebelah kiri sih.
Sasageo, sasageo.
Nyampe.
Nyampe ya?
Nyampe. Bawah. Bawahmu hit, Cak.
Marked an enemy's death crate.
Mana kita? Sana Karon.
Di sini
Marked a
dulu.
location.
Di atas. Woi, di atas si Mai. Kaget aku tuh.
Di atas. Kaget gua.
Sumpah aku ya kaget juga tuh.
Watch out!
Dalam ada Ron.
Berat darahnya. Cak di bom, Cak. Cak di bom, Cak.
Marked a
Pak kabur.
location. Help!
Bang, sakit banget lah si Yome ini loh. Anjir.
Aku lo kena sedetik aja.
Itu sakit banget deh ya. Si Yome itu ya. Anjir,
Tahu.
anjir.
Mau balik-balik. Jaga rikolan aku.
Balik aja lah yuk kita. Gas aja.
Gak usah jaga di kolan kah?
Nggak salah. Ayo, sesegio.
Rame cak lagi perang dia.
Help!
Astaga, kaget aku depan muka cuk.
Gimana Jeron?
Dikirimu ke hit satu orang baju hitam. Depanmu juga lagi perang. Tempat kita mati. Iya itu depanmu situ tadi. Baju hitam.
Di dalam.
Iya. Enggak, tadi di luar. Aku turun depan mukanya cuy tadi, nggak lihat. Tadi di luar ya. Nggak tahu sekarang.
Loh,
Oh.
orang sakit banget sih nembak ya. AKM-nya loh. Sesegio, sesegio. Kings Pro anjay. PB nih. Kings Pro Amanda.
Pakai data ini naik turun jaringan.
Marked a location.
Wait. Depanmu Pak, Cak.
Nah tuh, tuh.
Di
Watch
luar
out!
sini ada.
Help!
Astaga, cowok. Anjir. Udah ngapain lagi sih?
Depanku ada 2 orang. Ya, satunya di dalam.
Watch out! Dua orang, Cak. Kotak kiri kanan.
3 orang, 3 orang.
3 orang. Di belakang. Masih
Watch
di sini
out!
satu. Kenok di kotak. Di
Watch
tangganya, Cak.
out!
Satunya kayaknya di anu deh. Jembatan.
Oh ya, 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 sini.
Watch out!
Iya, di atas jembatan ada, Cak. Ke arahmu, Cak. Jembatan
Iya.
atasmu. Di tangganya tuh. Bisa
Iya.
kamu bokongin.
Sini.
Wait. Naik lagi deh.
Dua. Naik lagi satu. Cing di tangga ya? Enggak.
Lain. Di tanggamu masih ada.
Help!
Astaga. Dibokong dari belakang aku.
Help!
Aduh, kalah, Cok. Ah,
Dibokong dari arah lain.
Don't give up. Your teammates can still recall you.
kalah, Bro.
Yang di bawahku tadi belum ku end lagi.
I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks.
Reload sini. Nyamperon.
I got
Udah.
supplies.
Harusnya ada orang turun nih. Pesawat buat orang.
Marked a location.
Ada ya? Agak ngekrep. Satu orang. Ke rumah tunggal kan?
Yuk. Mana ya? Betul ya?
Bebas.
Ron, kalau di Kalimantan lautnya masih biru nggak, Ron?
Biru lah.
Masih biru ya?
Iya, Balikpapan.
Yang di pinggir-pinggirnya itu kan masih biru jernih gitu.
Biru.
Kalau di sini kan udah.
Udah tahu ya sekarang, karena aku udah pernah ke pantai lagi. Orang tuh cak lembot. Kok jadi bot lagi.
Dede Inun, Dede Inun. Dede Inun. Dede Inun, Dede Inun. Dede Inun. Awam ayam, Axel, ayam. Masih biru ya di situ ya. Soalnya kalau di Papua kan biru tuh, di NTT biru. Soalnya tapi jauh pas sono tuh kan mahal.
Birunya biru jernih, Cak. Kalau di sini nggak kurang.
Oh. Lu tau kan yang di Papua di NTT
Iya.
itu kan birunya jernih banget kan?
Iya.
Kalau di daerah sini tuh daerah Pulau Jawa gitu nggak jernih gitu birunya nggak. Kita ngeliat ke bawah itu nggak transparan tau kan?
Titan,
Mark
Cak,
the
Cak, Cak.
vehicle.
Oh, dia nggak lihat.
Marked
di
a
sini.
location.
Masih ada. Satu atau dua orang itu? Dua orang kayaknya, Cang.
Ah, ada mau. Ada mau. Oh, ini tadi. Kalau di sini kalau mau jernih-jernih gitu harus nyebrang pulau gitu anjir.
Hmm.
Ada orang kah situ?
Nggak ada.
Oh, ada orang nih, ada Titan lagi perang.
Titanku mau berubah. OTW. Hmm.
Tidak lihat gua. Titan.
Mana kayaknya itu, Cak?
Hah? Titan. Sasageo, Sasageo. Ike Sasageo. Iko Sasageo.
Help!
Loh! Kena ya? Tol. Bisa kena sih, Ron. Sakit amat tembakannya kayak gitu, Ron. Tembus loh.
Kill anginnya tembus.
Oh, dia tembus loh. Lu udah di balik tembok.
Tetap kena, Cak, dalam rumah.
Bukan tetap kena ya? Anjir. Kok bisa kena ya? Di dalam rumahnya kena anjir. Di dalam rumah kena. Curang dong ya kalau pakai Titan gitu ya? Aduh.
Iya, itu yang banyak dikomplain. Dalam rumah tetap kena.
Oh, itu banyak yang komplain tuh.
Iya. Seharusnya kalau lompatannya aja nggak apa-apa. Mereka pukul tuh tetap kena.
Agio. Mana kita? Kebakar.
Bakar. Sorry bang.
Dia nggak mati. Sekarang nice. Sam. Lagi Sam. Saya jadi Sam juga.
Bakar.
Tes. Baru nimbul lagi suara.
Ada yang turun.
Watch out!
Ya.
Watch out!
Ush, kaget.
Nggak mati cuk, sekarat cuk.
Udah mati, Cak.
Nggak mati anjir. Ada lawannya Sal. Mana Sal?
Watch out!
Nge-heal sih dia.
Lawan.
Help!
Wah, mati deh. AKM biji.
Sakit. Mana nih?
Sekolah.
Sorry, tahu. Ada orang mau respon. Dalam dia. Anjir, berdua lah. Baik, kawannya nunggu di
Watch
sini.
out!
Gendong-gendong.
Digendong.
Berdua dia berdua.
Baru kalau temen lain aja. Lu canda silang aja sih lu harus pikir. Oh, si dede tadi tuh.
Bang, halo bang, katanya.
Ada titan ya itu di kiri. Oh bot. Di kirimu bot. Di rumah. Arah ke rumah dia. Lain rumah seberang.
I'm recalling a teammate. Thanks.
Harusnya ke arah rojok tadi botnya.
Biasanya ada orang. Udah langsung rojok ah. Ada mobil.
Dan aku ke sini.
Oke. Ada mobil, Bang.
Itu dede yang kita kill itu bukan sih, Ron?
Nggak tahu.
Yang kita kill pas match belum. Dede Inun.
Nggak ingat tak.
Watch
Ada
out!
mobil di atas itu.
Iya.
Gimana ya, Ron?
Atas rojok. Gunung-gunungnya.
Boleh Bang Turca deh kayak Allah Akbar ada orang.
Situ ya?
Kaget aku Bang, dia sembunyi di pojokan gak kelihatan.
Wait.
Nah, bulat.
Awesome.
lari pin.
Awesome.
Masih ada kaca.
Agak. Tapi penuh loh dia.
Kiri kolan balik.
Iya kayaknya satunya di kolam.
Karena gitu mainnya. 3 nabrak. Kan
Dengaran.
ada coba rekor.
Awesome.
Terbuka sih pintu atas. Iya dah, TPP di atas dah.
Watch
Ini
out.
di tangga.
Gua pakai titan kali ya, bisa nembak-nembak kan?
Ya.
Sini nggak bisa ya, pakai titan ya?
Saya di dalam.
Gimana sih dia?
Di atas ini.
Harap SG. Ya harap.
Awesome.
Ih, nggak mati. Astron.
Awesome.
Dia lagi revive.
Sabar.
Satu lagi.
Ah,
Ada suaranya.
iya.
Sampai revive dia.
Awesome.
Lah,
Awesome.
balik lagi ke sini, cucu. Kok dia hoki sih dapat P90 di sini?
Di mana tadi mobilnya?
Tuh. Oh iya, sekarang hari Jumat ya.
Yoi.
Jumat ya.
Awesome.
Nggak pernah.
Ada.
Nggak ngekrem lagi. Titan Cak, ada 2
Watch
depan kita
out!
nih, sama
Watch
di sini.
out!
Bensin habis. Itu yang Titan tadi kayaknya.
Enggak ada orang belum. Oh ini Titan yang tadi nih. Wih, tembus cok Roni. Tembus Ron anjir.
Aku nge-heal Cak.
Oke, diam ya. Oke.
Enggak itu lain.
Cok tembus anjir. Ngecit lu. Tembak Ron, tembak Ron.
Turun.
Ada lagi. Tuh, banyak kali tanya anjing. Gimana nih Ron?
Ganggu Cuk.
Aduh. Pala ini ditanco. Anjir, Ron, bangke. Apa sih? Woi. Apa sih Titan anjir? Aduh.
Udah jelas betul. Bisa mukul dalam rumah.
Ngecit anjir, ngecit.
Masuk terus damage-nya.
Iya. Kita mau kemana ya? Susah juga ya tadi ya. Kalau kayak gitu gimana ya caranya itu? Buat ngindarin kayak gitu. Pakai itu ya. Pakai apa namanya? Yang kayak Fanny itu ya.
Tapi kejar terus.
Tapi dikejar ya. Rusak anjir sumpah. Perasaan cooldownnya cepet banget itu yang loncat-loncat. Anjir curang banget anjir. Kita nggak jelas. Mau ngumpet kemana ya kan? Satu rumah kanan kena semua anjir damage-nya.
Kasih kentut sama dia.
Di kayak nembaknya gitu cok, anjir damage-nya jauh banget.
Ada nana Ambon di sini.
Ada.
Ya ada.
Kurang.
Cari serum aja kita Bang Turca.
Iya ya, serum ya. Kita injek-injekin kesel tuh anjir. Itu Titan yang itu yang kuat ya, yang terakhir ya tadi ya. Kan
Iya,
Titannya kan ada 2 kan?
Ada 2.
Yang modenya.
3 nggak salah. Sama yang botak.
Tapi yang kuat itu yang itu kan? Yang gondrong kan?
Yang tadi. Ya.
Watch out!
Aduh, ada orang.
Watch out! Help! Watch out!
Bulan itu.
Kena hit. Setengah paling darahnya tuh.
Di bawah.
Tinggal 1 sih.
Watch out!
Berisik.
Ada darahnya guys.
Ada.
Ada.
Nah, ampun kita.
Ada yang baru turun.
Nah, ampun. Ada yang baru anjing baru turun tuh. Ke bawah.
Di bawah nomor 3. Di rumah kiri kayaknya ada deh.
Watch out!
Ada.
Di bawah.
Marked a location.
Cok, kejebak gua. Aduh. Jebak tuh.
Di seberang kiri ya. Ada Titan, Cuk. Ada Titan.
Masuk aja, Mas.
Dua Titan, coy.
Ada orang.
Mana dia?
Ada serum nih, serum Titan nih. Tahu nggak?
Watch out!
Kotak tuh ada serum Titan.
Di depan
Watch out.
tinggal di itu dua squad.
Watch
Depan
out!
sini tadi. Di bawah jembatan. Di bawah jembatanku. TPP
Watch
di sini.
out!
Kabur.
Help!
Oke.
Watch out!
Nah, kalau Titan yang itu gampang matinya ya.
Gampang.
Watch out!
Kalau Titan yang rambutnya blonde ya.
Watch out!
Yang rambutnya blonde.
Dihajar dong dari belakang. Tidak ada ya? Walah. Berubah. Kok bisa? Kesalahan posisi harus di luar dulu dia.
Iya, dulu.
Oh bisa.
Satu lagi ya?
Woi, SG-nya bi.
Walah.
Don't give up. Your teammates can still recall you.
Kok ini titannya kakek-kakek bangke. Susah ya pakai titan ya.
Susah.
Nona ampun
Ada lagi.
kita.
Yang rambut panjang yang kuat ya.
Iya yang rambut panjang itu yang kuat anjir gak mati-mati.
Weh. Oh ditembak kena juga sama temen. Keluar darah.
Di sini tadi rame yang turun.
Weh.
Iya kan?
Help!
Astaga, kontol ayam kan. Anjing dah. Rame-rame di situ. Dikirimu, bos. Sudah curiga dah aku ada yang bantuin. Di atas rumahnya juga ada, di atas rumah biru.
Pajang kabur dia. Tembak.
Ada satu lagi ya temannya.
Anjir bot nembakinnya kocak.
Temannya satu lagi di rumah biru.
Tuh kan kuat kan kagak mati-mati, Cok. Tuh. Nah, ini nih. Rumah biru.
Nyangkut.
Nyangkut. Lompat.
Ya kan susah kan nembaknya kan?
Susah.
Anjir. Dah.
Awesome.
Enak bang pakai titan sumpah.
Iya, titan yang itu yang kuat tuh. Ya kan?
I'm recalling a teammate.
Nah, kita pertama main.
Thanks. Help!
Allahu Akbar. Salah. Sabun.
Ini
Di mana?
di bawah,
Di
di
situ.
bawah.
Kalau di bawah.
Ah, anak ayam ya.
Oh dia ini punya serum kan? Jadi yang tua tuh. Nanti
I'm
berubah.
recalling a
lagi
teammate.
tuh.
Awesome.
Ada
Berubah yang
lagi
kuat
kan?
tuh di situ.
Thanks.
Turun aja. Tahu. Asli enak kita coba.
Ngarahinnya agak sulit anjir.
Lihat bang.
Ada orang, Cok.
Watch out!
Ada orang. Wih.
Di mana?
Mark the location. Help!
Astaga nggak mati, Cok. Anjir. Apa gue mau Jumatan juga.
Naik ke lantai 2.
Nah, lagi healing dah, lagi healing.
Aku ngokang bom. Ngokang bom.
Ya, mana bom?
Hit bom. Kenok.
Ya.
Nah, ampun pita.
Ada orang. Mana dia? Tapi main sama Bang Turca nih musuhnya keras-keras ya?
Maksudnya emang ngaruh ya?
Iya.
Gue Jumatan dulu ya.
Siap Bang.
Oke.
Oke. Ini berubah dulu.
To the island, but it's definitely within grasp. So we'll definitely have to see if we're still getting those early game shenanigans coming from E Arena as well as GLU Squad.
And for the flat path, it's pretty nice, pretty kind, I must say still. Everyone should be able to drop directly into their regular drop spot. But whether there will be a challenge, that will be a question. Yesterday, in one of the Erangel matches, we did not see anyone drop in to the base at all. But this time, with the presence of Reigns Esports, they normally like to drop in to the base. It could be a destination that they will be looking forward to. While that is happening, checking out some of the stats on the left side, no surprises. Our MVP, Sky, still leads the chart. Well, the numbers are quite big, and he sets a very high bar, basically. So that's why he's always the front page man for the overall charts, or for the stat.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing here from the minimap? Is this a little bit of a hint of who's going to pick up the ex-members of Horror Miracle Vibes? I'm looking at their names changing to APG. So, is this official? That's pretty huge news if you ask me.
Okay, that's a good point.
Wow.
I gotta look at that again. Hopefully, when we get a zoom in by the observers later on, we get a better view. But if it is APG, then that's going to be super interesting.
Indeed, it could be. I mean, EWC is around the corner. All these big organizations are definitely looking to score some EWC points. If you guys are wondering how exactly that works, you could definitely check out how the EWC system works out. So, of course, we focus on Ruthless Hype Esports here. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere else that Ruthless Hype Esports is, so that you don't miss a beat.
Right. I'm just hoping that we get to see a better glimpse or a better view of Reigns Esports, or maybe APG. I mean, what do we call them right now? Do we still call them Reigns, or do we call them APG now? If it is APG, that is.
I guess we stick to Reigns because, on the right-hand side of the screen, it's still pretty much RE. So 58 points, I think not too shabby. I mean, they got to prove to themselves that they could really carry the banner of whatever the current three letters of the front of the names are at the moment. So we'll see. Maybe it is going to be APG that will pick them up. Maybe not. So uh, I guess we'll only find out in a couple more weeks.
Or maybe it's an APG, but not the APG that we know of.
Maybe.
I don't know, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. It could be another APG. The APG that we know of, I believe, stands for Uncle PUBG. This could be another APG. I don't know. Maybe it's all players gamers. I don't know.
All players gamers doesn't roll off the tongue really well, but I'll take that. Like it could be anything from well, I can't even think of one right now. So we'll get back into that later on. So Horror Esports, one of the hot favorites right now, holding it at number one spot. still having a significant gap in between them as well as Voing Donkey. That is about 11 points of a difference at the current moment. So Voing Donkey, the onus is on them to be able to outscore the rest of Hora Esports, but it's not going to be an easy task. I think that, of course, every single fan watching right now over on chat is absolutely rallying for Hora Esports, the Purple Hearts. And of course, wherever you guys are from, make sure you guys, support every single team that you find to be very interesting, whether if it's from your region or even not. So, other than that, taking a look at the rest of FaZe Clan, a newly revamped roster that we've talked about, with majority of them coming from Asia Esports, seeing a lot of great signs of life where they're actually getting a lot of good fights going in their favor from yesterday's run.
Yeah, so they even scored the chicken dinner, right? And they're at a very comfortable position at this point. They're like what? I'm doing the math here. 60. They're like 56 points away from the drop, and even that, like, they can continue to collect points. So even if they go AFK for like what, a day or two, maybe, like what you said, they will still be in the top 16, no problem.
True enough. And of course, maybe they aren't exactly too comfortable for the moment. They just want to ensure that you will be pretty much sufficient in order to get yourself pretty much on the right track in order to prepare for the grand finals. Meanwhile, we spoke about FaZe Clan. Now they're met with some of the members of the Savior, Lamborghini, as well as Levi's. But I've actually heard Canary moving into this spot. Canary, who could this player be? I mean, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this name. Could just be anybody out there, but here we go. First strike over on the Canary with the bison in hand as the rest of the members of FaZe Clan follow suit to provide cover to go up against Lamborghini.
Well, they need to worry about the name later on, because right now they need to worry about Lamborghini still being around the corner. That could punish them though. Speaking about punishing, Nate punished Red Bull from the side, and the rest of the Xavier coming in to finish up the job. Now they have FaZe Clan cornered.
Huge nades actually dropping right in. Despite the members in this Spanish, it is going to be level 180 flick in order to go for the drop. Now it's just down to Nate. An explosive fight coming in from both ends. Now Canary, the one that have actually started all of this ruckus, is going to go in for a safe. There will be Nate to be prime coming from the side of Nate. And there is Nate on his name for a very good reason. But you must right above him, as Canary will shut off the entirety of the Saber in such an early span of the run.
Wow, they lost Red Bull, but they still won that fight, bringing in 4 elimination points in total. So just to keep our audience up to speed on Mr. Canary. So Canary and Macaris, 2 of these players are the original players from FaZe Clan 2.0 after the whole roster shift of FaZe Clan from the previous season. Then they brought in Red Bull, Dewey, and also Shopper from Austria, Thailand to join them to form the current FaZe Clan that will be competing in the upcoming PMSL.
Yeah, just look at how strong they are with this huge revamp. Taking out the Savior, the champions coming in from Vietnam, is definitely no easy task. Of course, it was a lot back and forth, and due to Canary's quick response, that's how they've been able to overwhelm the opposition. And that's a very good reason why they were fighting for that spot, because that is the exact center of the zone. Now it does shift further on into the corners of South George as well as Hospital Grounds. Meanwhile, that spot on top of Mount Gatka, aka Olympus, is going to be absolutely playable. I want to see how many more teams will be climbing on top.
Well, looks like most teams want to secure a spot inside of South Jogo Pool. You can see a lot of them going there. Like what you said, I want to see how many teams actually go up to Mount Olympus at the same time. But Stickley bring down to Boomy Sports, who has just arrived. Zerus will get KM from GLU Squad. 3 teams at least shooting at each other with KM. Eliminated by Johan from Boomy Sports. The point stolen away from the hands of Team Secret.
Wow, great praise coming in from the side of GLU, popping the tire out of the members of Team Secret, so they're going to be stuck here for a while longer inside the warehouse. A lot of battles will erupt around this areas of the containers later on, while Arena also got themselves busy by knocking down four of these players coming in from the side of Champions Esports. MC who? This is NC2.
Well, you need to answer who is he later on when he scores the chicken dinner. But we just saw another player eliminated and he came from Hora Esports out now playing with 3 players. South Jogopool so far dominated by Team Secret. Managed to hold it on. Hopefully they get the circle at the same time. Now moving on to Hora Esports, we have Mr. MVP himself, Sky now lobbing a nade across. Able to get a knock onto GLU squad. Sends another nade into the warehouse, hoping to land it. Bam! Not yet, not yet. Timer's ticking, but looks like no hit yet.
Yeah, look at how active Sky is actually pulling all these trigger all by himself. Well, he's got to also be very careful because right behind where he's currently at is going to be E Arena, who's slowly considering whether they should move into the warehouses for a challenge as well. While the rest of E Arena, they also still have this ongoing fight up against Claw Slayers. 2 members on board. NC who now drops in the big nade, not finding the drop just yet. Now calling in more members coming from the rest of E Arena's. Joker does actually find Bobo. And once again, it is another hit coming true. So NC who, he's going to be able to open a lot more room for them to outnumber the rest of the Claws.
Oh, here's Joker cooking the snake. Gonna be a short range toss. But Mr. Unstoppable went up to the rooftop, so that nade will not connect. Inside the back is calling up for help, but he will be eliminated by NC who? NC2, as Claw got eliminated by them at number 15.
This is gonna roll off our tongues a whole lot of times because we kind of miss him moving into some of all these matches. So it's actually great that we at least get to recognize some of the players coming in from E Arena. While we did talk about players to be playing around that Mount Olympus, but the last we checked, it was 2 members up from the side of E Arena that was on top, but they were the ones to descend to move deeper into the hospital ground because they thought that they would for the ship. But meanwhile, what's happening is that ASI-8, they drive through the top of the hill and they will see themselves shred apart by the rest of Champions Esports.
Wow, okay, the team that scored the chicken dinner yesterday seems to be still on the roll. Though they will be playing the rest of the round without Atomic, but to get that 4 points in the pocket is still not too bad for them. Now, the next question is that when or how are they going to get into the circle? Also to point out about Mount Gakka, or some people call it Mount Olympus, nobody is occupying that area when the circle is around the center of that mountain. So I wonder who will be the first one to go up and be the king of the hill.
Yeah, it really feels like some of the teams, they are just hoping to actually find themselves the cover over onto the foothill instead, because once you climb up, you're going to draw a lot of attention. Meanwhile, E Arena does not really need to do that in order to draw all the attention to them, because after that fight up against Claw, they're now faced with the rest of CD Alliance, even shots covering over onto these corners of the walls. So the members of E Arena will have to hold back slightly for the meantime.
And for GLU squad, holding back whatever firepower that they have for now, they're going to play a chill game. Since they're somewhere in the middle of the circle as well, on the lower ground, but it's fine overall. Now we have a visual onto APG, Reigns Esports, APG, Reigns Esports. Okay, we'll stick with Reigns Esports for sure. Okay, until we get something of official then.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
for now, Team Secret, yeah. I wonder who's going to challenge them for South Jogopool.
Probably not for the moment. I think like a lot of the teams, once they see that sort of top, they were thinking about moving deeper into Gatka instead, which is why you're looking at member of champions to be circulating around the foothill instead. So Team Secret, are they going to consider moving on to the top of the hill as well? As we take a look at it, it is Alter Ego currently being the kings of the hill, but quickly as it goes, Typhoon with a long-range spray, will be able to find Urcast from Champions Esports.
Okay, Alter Ego. Looks like two teams will try to fight it off for the top of this mountain. Urcas unfortunately will not survive, now leaving Kino at the other side. The mountain is still at the center, Alter Ego. Good spot for them to be in. They even have this 2-2 spread right now. But Kino
Yeah.
is Alva. Hey, he might pull the trigger anytime soon. It's a good clear shot. Alva only has that tree protecting him, but Kino, he can pull the trigger. Come on, Kino, do it. Do it, Kino.
It's about time. I mean, he's about to miss the opportunity. I think that he's more worried about the rest of the positions of Alter Ego members, so he definitely expects retaliation the moment he unleashes the clip. So is it going to be the good call? Because Kino is all alone. The rest of his members have been deteriorated. Is he going to play for position or not? It really is down to him. But that 5 points is definitely going to be a little bit more worthwhile, but that's probably not exactly the most beautiful that we've seen coming from Kino.
Oh man, that was a bit of a missed opportunity there. Yeah, arguably it wasn't the best of shot because Alva, he was moving back and forth. But then again, oh man, Kino should have got that. Hopefully it doesn't bite him in his back later on. At least he managed to move away. As for Alter Ego, they're still the king of the hill for now. But at the bottom, we have DRS now rushing in on the 4th rise.
Loving how DRS has been able to at least do quite significant damage up against the members of 4 tribes. They decide to leave the vicinity and now recommit, driving past these members, looking to just run them over, just to overwhelm 4T. And they will now crash out, at least walking away with 3 points.
That is DRS. 4 points collected so far on the outside of the circle. Time for them to get in. Within the circle, Boom Esports, okay? At least they are on the inner side of the road. So that will force them to be against Team Secret. So here is what? They say hello to E Arena, knocking them down the moment they arrive, leaving E Arena with only 1 active player left across that hill.
What a risky attempt coming from E Arena. I mean, they are just driving into these warehouses where they've been around the hospital. They should have actually known that there are players around this vicinity. But then again, you could also say that it's a good push coming in from the well in order to actually clip them. Meanwhile, they also spot another member coming from CD Alliance, and that's going to be Kasim running around the corners. The next one to be falling out is going to be Champions Esports this time. At least they did actually secure 4 points before they bow out.
As for the top of the hill, looks like Reigns Esports. They want to challenge Alter Ego for it. By the bottom, Point Donkey, the lead at Delta. Defending their ground against the incoming DRS. Expect more teams to come by as this one the entry point into the top of the hill.
Sure enough, it's just getting rowdier and rowdier as it goes. Plenty of teams hoping to move up the hillside. E Arena now left with only 1 member, but they go on a dominating streak with Joker securing that 5th point. Now, once again, the dilemma of whether to call them APG or Reigns Esports will stick to Reigns for now. A little bit of a widespread coming in from the rest of the members of Alter Ego at the moment, just to take full control of the spine of Mount Gatka. Take a look at FaZe Clan. They're about to make that uphill climb as well, and APG, or should I say Reigns, is going to be the biggest benefactor with the current phase of the circle, favoring them a whole lot more.
Man, what are the odds? Circle now shifting down to the lower ground when it was centered around the high ground. Now it's Alter Ego's move to cut across Reigns Esports to get into the bottom. As Top will be the one holding the line here against Alter Ego. Pressure's on the Alter Ego right now, but at least they are able to get into the circle for now. And they do have vehicles as well. They can take a different option to rotate elsewhere to get down. But of course, the moment they go down, they'll be fighting other teams. They might as well try to cut through Reigns Esports now. While Reigns Esports, they are managing FaZe Clan as well.
Yeah, I'm liking that they're actually negating the pressure coming in from the foothill instead and deal with the rest of Alter Ego later on while they're not pushing back. Meanwhile, BX has got to deal with the situation because Top is about to pounce upon them. Meanwhile, they will fall back. So it's going to be a 2-2 split coming from the side of Reigns while they go in for the challenge. Top coming with the shotgun shells. Will be able to find one up against Alter Ego. Badger already down for the count. All of these Still have to actually get the revive onto Dilo, but Zal is not allowing them to even go for the pickup.
And they're looking for more targets now. As Alter Ego has Alva still. Alva on the other end, he's in the circle. But there's Chopper coming in from the side, surprising Reigns Esports. Immediately got punished. Dewey will be knocked down. Chopper will be the last man for FaZe Clan. Do they still want to get the hilltop? But then they did enough to eliminate Reigns.
Yeah, they were sandwiched in between. That's why FaZe Clan, they call the shots in order to put even more pressure while the rest of the members of Alter Ego is also fighting them back. Well, FaZe Clan, they also received the short end of the stick because by pushing up the hill, you're also met with Alter Ego once again. So Alter Ego shuts them out completely. Now it's going to be a challenge from Horror Esports up against Team Secret. But once more, Alter Ego, the kings of the hill, reign supreme.
And here comes still Alter Ego, not letting off too close by. They're shooting into the smoke. They see somebody there. They want to secure that point, and there are more teams. Still, it's like really fun. They still want to get those knocks. There's still the advantage that they have, taking the left side of this hill that's still within the circle, making full use of it. Another vehicle passing by. There's also DRS that I noticed, but for BX666, he probably doesn't know that there is a player of DRS close by. But anyway, having the hold up on the top of this hill is still a good advantage for them.
Definitely it is. Alter Ego having a great control despite losing out Bradru early on. Now, it is going to be a daunting task for everybody else on the lower ground in order to keep themselves safe for the moment. From the sprays coming out, we are also seeing some retaliation coming in from the quarters of Churchill, and that's coming from the side of Blue Squad. And take a look at the rest of Cellcom PG Alliance. They're pretty much looking around them. So while GLU is being kept busy, this could be a very good opportunity for the Malaysian team to be able to find something in return.
As for DRS, somehow Kilo IT is able to slide in by the edge of this circle. With this vehicle, they should provide him a decent amount of pressure for now, that is. As Alter Ego, they're busy with other teams, including Boom Esports. Now they don't have the circle at all. They have to move slightly forward, but they can still have that elevation. Here comes Kilo IT! Nice spray from the side to knock down Lembang.
Wow, what a cheeky angle that he has, having a little bit more cover coming in from his vehicle as well. DRS now adds those 5 points to the tally, now moving into the top 6 ratio, while the rest of Boom Esports now pushing right through, challenging the rest of Alter Ego. While they climb upwards, they are sending BX coming from Alter Ego to descend instead. So I'm not too sure if this is the wisest move coming from the side of Boom Esports, but if anything at all, they're putting a lot of pressure onto Alter Ego and themselves at the very same time.
Yeah, they still want to go up to this hill, even though the circle is not centered around that. I guess they want to get the elevation advantage, just like how Alter Ego has. But they have to, of course, challenge Alter Ego first. And Alter Ego, they're prepared for it. Boom Esports receive a decent amount of damage. Now here comes a vehicle bringing in 2 players of Boom Esports. They close the gap between themselves and Alter Ego. Ponbit will be the one to rush in with his DBS. Ponbit dancing around. Ponbit uses the 1v1. Nylok in control of the situation. But here comes Yummy, just to be countered by BX666.
Oh, he's so low though. Can they actually hold it down? Boom Esports meet their demise, and like we actually questioned, is this a very late push coming from the side of Boom Esports? They were left very vulnerable where all the position was exposed for Alter Ego to really take those beautiful shots. 8 points right now in the back for Alter Ego.
Well, now we are in the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. No team has a full squad now. It's either Boy Donkey, GLU squad, Cellcom DJ Alliance, Alter Ego, or DRS for the chicken dinner. DRS only has that 1 player, Kilo YT, unless he can pull off a miracle. So far, he was able to collect that 1 point at where he was at. And I believe he should still have the circle. If not, it shouldn't be too difficult for him to get in anyway. While other teams trying to cancel each other, Boy Donkey from the lower ground, they do see Alter Ego at that hilltop still. But nobody's really committing into the middle. Totally understandable since it's quite open there.
It definitely is going to be a little bit of a challenge to be able to play on that area. Well, Alpha, I believe he's already drawn enough attention from all the shots that Alter Ego's been putting out against the rest of the party. So now look at the set. They gotta look for a little bit more room. While there is Hexas being occupied by taking on the rest of Cellcom Digital Alliance on the opposite corner. So there definitely is going to be a little bit of a pressure for the Malaysian team to be able to cut right across, while GLU gets a little bit more of that space to play out. So long as they don't take out Hexas, they will have a lot more breathing space. And as a matter of fact, that circle actually closes very close by towards GLU squad.
Ooh. And also Alter Ego still has that circle with a little bit of elevation towards them. So still not too bad. Okay, but on the other side, we have a big rotation happening here from the north, going up this hill. And now GLU squad, they are the ones that have this hill. But look at Killer YT's position. He could backstab GLU squad.
Yeah, it is a very cheeky angle, and he's back. Their backs are actually exposed. While they are occupied with BX, I think that they are just left unsettable. Speaking of which, Stickley, he drops that beautiful grenade to be able to just pin down the member of Alter Ego. When exactly will YT strike? He is dropping those grenades, but Noel, he's not actually paying attention.
Oh, another nade. This time it did connect. One more nade should knock him down. And Killer YT is ready for it. He's static there, and that nade by Killer YT would knock down Noel. Killer YT totally unknown to GLU squad. Where did those nades come from?
I don't think that he'd taken notice that the nades were not actually coming from Alter Ego. Instead, he wasn't really looking towards his back in order to sift out that position. Now Stickley, he's going on a push, and now he's vulnerable.
Killer YT!
DRS just got that absolute punish yet again. What a beautiful run for the side of DRS. Can they actually put in more points? CV Alliance now emerges with 3 members to rush upon the rest of Boing Donkey.
Ooh, could Killer YT be the kingmaker here, or he himself to collect that chicken dinner that's now hanging in the balance? Starcom DJ Alliance coming in towards Boing Donkey with the IGL Potato on the ground. Potato eliminated by Oleo. While Killer YT is still behind these teams. I mean, he could be the big kingmaker here, or maybe steal away the chicken dinner for himself.
Sure enough, when exactly will he strike? Because right now, he's waiting for these two teams to wither each other out. And here goes another name. Beautiful stuff coming from the side of the field, while Razak immediately replies, dropping out Iftar. 2 members remaining for the side of CD Alliance. They go in for the push up against Razak, and there we go. Killer YT! He finally emerges from the top side of the hill.
Okay. It's a 1v2. Killer YT versus Oleo, and now they look. Just as the AUG. Lobs a nade across. Yes, now they look. Killer YT, could he be the one to get the chicken dinner for DRS? One more to go for him. Could it be a solo run for Killer YT? He switches himself towards the lower ground. Oleo still focused onto the high ground. Killer YT could get this nade. If he can lob it across behind this tree, it would be perfect for him. As Oleo will move away, but he will not move away from Killer YT's nade. And DRS scores the chicken dinner.
That was wild! How on earth did DRS pull this chicken dinner out of nowhere? It was all down to the effort of Killer YT, the man, the myth, the legend. And here's one for everyone back at home in Nepal, as they are back in their winning ways. What a showdown. I mean, Sir Cloud, did you expect Game 1 of Day 4 to be this explosive?
Wow, it went out with a bang, literally. That explosive, that is, towards the end. And it came from Killer YT. Whew. And DRS, they have been missing for a good amount of rounds now, just for them to come back with this sort of performance. This is crazy. This is insane. And Killer YT, he was Day 1's MVP, and he's showing that he wants that throne back.
Indeed, and I believe that this is just the start of what they're about to show to the rest of the world right now. Look at that. 7 points, all from the side of Killer YT. Chama also adding another 3 to the tally. Yante as well as Delta, I believe what went on is that DRS, the last we checked, they were rotating from the south side of Gatka. I believe that they were kind of punished in between that rotation, which is why it has led to DRS to be playing in such a manner where they were playing a little bit more elusive than the rest of the pack. But the way that they've been able to strike down GLU and not be punished, that was so miraculous. And I thought that eventually somebody will be able to get Killer YT, but no, everyone else was kept busy the entire time.
Yeah, and because he started off like his spy mission with Nates, right? So Nates, you don't necessarily know, or it's hard to hear the audio cue when he pulls that pin of where exactly he is. So he kept himself in stealth mode for a good amount of time. Until the very end, he saw that Void Donkey and Celcom DJ Alliance, they were fighting each other. He allowed that to happen before coming in at the right timing. Man, this guy, game sense at his best. But we also got to give it to the other teams here. Again, another good run here for GLU squad. Ever since their chicken dinner yesterday, they seem to be on the roll. They really won that top 16, followed by Void Donkey, who last we saw at second place, and Alter Ego as our teams to watch, being the king of the hill early on.
Yeah, for these teams are definitely showing a very different form overall, and we're absolutely loving it. GLU, they definitely know that their tournament lives are on the line, which is why they are really showing up from yesterday's tail end of the rounds. But DRS right now is just showing that they are a different level of beast. Despite the efforts coming from the side of DRS, Celcom DG Alliance, they had majority of the members alive for most part in order to trade out. Therefore, they do have high amount of damage output, but the sad case is that there's only 3 eliminations under their belt.
Oh yeah, okay. And I guess those 3, most of them came from the fight towards the end. But what came towards the end, of course, is our MVP, Killer YT, from DRS, 7 eliminations, 972 damage. It's not about the damage, people. It's all about the eliminations collected. And he brought, obviously, majority of the eliminations for his team.
Yeah, well deserved of the MVP title, and we definitely want to see more of this kind of fury for Killer YT and the rest of DRS at the very same time. Well, you know, we were saying that they have definitely had some really dismal performance coming in from the past few days. I think this round more than makes up for the lost cause. Now, looking at the rest of the pack, there is 2 members coming in from GLU that does make it into the top 4 performers out of this matchup.
Yeah, 2 players from GLU squad. Again, GLU squad, they are showing that they are a big rising team here. From page number 3, maybe now they will be in page number 2. We need to look at the points later on. Right now, the points, majority goes to DRS with the 10 eliminations collected, so that's 20 points in total. GLU squad, 12 points. Void Donkey, 11 points. And Alter Ego, 11 points. On the other hand, it's unfortunate for Claw Slayers. They are the only team to not collect any points at all this time.
Yeah, we saw them getting challenged very, very early, and it really felt like it was a little bit more of a sloppy run coming in from them. So I hope that they do fix some of their approach on how they were taking some of the fights. Meanwhile, the Saber also got pinned out very early on by FaZe Clan, and at least FaZe Clan has gotten a couple of all these elimination points before bowing out. Now, this is the longest distance so far, 401 meters coming out of Team Secret's Typhoon. While we're already looking at the margins of trollables and every other stat to be more on the usual esports front. So that's good news for everyone.
Well, welcome back, DRS, to page number 1 after that chicken dinner. A total of 85 points now, and they are just 1 point behind 4th Rise to leapfrog against them to be in the top 5. Of course, number 1 still remains Hora Esports, 122 points, Void Donkey, 119 points, and we also have to welcome Celcom DJ Alliance to the 100 point mark club, 103 points collected. RRQ, to be fair to them, they did not play that round, so well, it's normal to drop a little bit, but they'll be back in the following round for them to reclaim their spot.
Sure enough, let's take a look at the second page right now. FaZe Clan, they got 5 points, and that pushes them 2 spots up ahead. Talon was not involved in this matchup. Therefore, they will have to see if they could do more in the upcoming round. Meanwhile, E Arena has been able to also stash 5, so there's a lot more movements coming in from the Thai squads in the middle of the pack. Well, we'll just have to see whether if AST as well as BTR respond in kind in the upcoming game, where even Alter Ego, this has been a huge ride for them because you saw how many eliminations that they've been able to achieve on top of the hill. That ensures them 11 points to be added to the block.
Ooh, and on page 3, with GLU squad having a decent performance in this round, they're still not on page 2 yet, but obviously with the 12-point round collected, they're edging closer to that. And the closest one right now is Alter Ego. They're very, very close. They're knocking on the door. They're currently at number 17. Will they be able to catch up? We'll see what happens in the following round, ladies and gentlemen. Before we head on to that, we'll take a short break, and we'll see you guys after this. Whoa, what an explosive round that was, especially with the solo run from Killer YT. And the day's not over yet. We're back here with round number 2 in the Ruthless Invitational Showdown Season 10. My name is Sir Cloud, together with my buddy here, Contra. So, we saw whatever happened in Game 1. I'm sure we can expect more in Game 2.
Indeed. I mean, we're just getting started, like you said. So, that to be told by the rest of the pack, can they match up to the tempo of play that's displayed by DRS right now on a hot form? So I really do want to behold, will they be able to bring the same form of tempo moving into these upcoming matches? But it seems like DRS, they will be taking a break because Group C will be on board this time around, where we'll be featuring RQ, AST, BTR, and the list goes on. So ooh, that was a good starter. Now, I wonder if Group C can kind of match up to what DRS has been able to bring to the table.
Yeah, after that insane round, Killer YT deserves a break. Not gonna lie. He carried the entire team to get that chicken dinner. And of course, gave us the entertainment at the same time. Now, coming to the predictions. We have to pick a team from either B or C. So,
So I
A or
would
C,
say
that is. Yeah.
in Group C, out of the many names, I would think that Vampire Esports, they're definitely having a decent run. So I'm gonna go for Vampire Esports first, and then later on I'll switch it up.
Ooh, okay. Production going for a quick one. Cellcom DG Alliance. All right. So, I would like to go for
Wow, you just brought
BTR.
in the
Let's
jersey?
go. Oh, not just any jersey. Okay, not just any jersey.
Oh, you even got your name on it
Oh,
with the Malaysian
yeah.
flag on top. Now that is an absolute flex. Did you bribe Coach Ken for it, or how do you get it? Like, I want one too.
No bribery involved. Okay, just saying. Although I do accept bribes, but it was not bribed. So shout out to Ken for arranging this very special one, especially with the flag behind. So yeah, it's insane. I do have another special one though, but it's in the other room, so I can't grab it right now, obviously. But
It's okay.
I'll keep it for later.
Once this screen flashes onto something else, you make a run for it. You come back and show us your other jersey. All right. So yeah, I guess that we do have just about enough time for us to prepare for the next flight. So yeah, go run for it if you want.
Okay, if you say so. Okay, if you say so. Give me like 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Okay, sure thing. I mean, I can cover you. Once we actually move right into the matches, you guys are currently watching the Ruthless Invitational Showdown Season 10, all brought to you by Ruthless Hype Esports. Now, moving into our first matchup of Miramar, this flight path will be cutting through Capital Militar to be headed all the way down towards the southern side. So definitely it's looking rather interesting. Now I can definitely hear my friend stomping his way back in the room once more to show us what he's got later on. So Cloud, just to confirm, are you back on track, my guy?
Wow, I like how you counted 20 seconds. Right on point.
Wow, I wasn't counting. I was just hoping that was just around that perimeter, you know?
But that's your game sense telling you, right? Like, okay, that's about right, and it works. But I can only show it to you guys after we come into the caster scene, obviously. So let's head on to our game. Miramar, let's go.
Yep, that's pretty much fair enough, ladies and gents, as we are having pretty much a lot of only space to play out, but it's a little bit of a stretch moving into Los Leones, which is a little bit of a concerning sign for those teams that love to drop there, because yesterday we've seen like what, 3 teams that like to actually move into the region. E Arena already receiving firing coming in from the rest of 4 tribes, as they're starting to lose out the trade in San Martin.
Well, again, another San Martin fight, and this has been happening multiple times now. Let's see who will get the better end of it. So far, 4 tries, they lost one of their main fraggers, T24. But the fight continues on with E Arena still around the corner. Obviously, with them scoring that first blood for themselves, they don't want to let go of this area. Oh, but wait a second. No. T24 is actually still in the game. His health was so low that I thought that he actually got eliminated.
Nah, he's got like 1 HP and a dream now. He is just kind of looking around whether if he's going to be a first aid kit or a couple of bandages that will keep himself alive. But who's not alive? Joker, unfortunately. And it's just super rough for him. He decides, you know what? It's an early run. I'm just going to disconnect right now.
Yeah, he decides to rage quit this. Oh, okay, he's back. Okay, he's showing that he's still a sport, you know, like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna rage quit this. My team is still playing. I'll be together with them. And that's a good sport there. Shout out to Joker, by the way, for doing that. Now, E-Arena, hoping for at least Joker's sacrifice to at least return them the dividends by taking out 4 tries. Both sides, they're going to play it a little bit more chill for now because they need to focus on to getting the right equipment before they continue on the fight.
True enough, and it's so interesting to actually see how teams actually make all these adjustments because if you think about how D-Saber played maybe in past tournaments, they also do love to drop inside of St. Martin, but they kind of give respect to E-Arena as well as 4 Tribes. It's like, there's no point sharing this location with 2 other teams, so they decide to let these 2 duke it out. So E-Arena, this is kind of like the second time that they've been trailed by the rest of 4 Tribes, and so far, 4 Tribes having a really clean track record, winning out some of all these early scuffles up against EA.
And who's going to take the next shot here? Noki seems to have a good view of E-Arena. The moment E-Arena steps out, then they might face the wrath of Noki. That will allow space for his other teammates to continue on to loot while Noki just keeps an eye onto E-Arena. So this might be a lock-in for now. I don't expect E-Arena to be the ones to push. If any push were to come, it will be from 4 tries.
Absolutely agree with that. I mean, honestly, there's no avenue for the rest of E-Arena to even retreat to another different sector of the compound because this giant block of a building is kind of segregated from the rest of the other buildings, so it is definitely a little bit of stretch, if anything at all. NC2 will have to contribute as we're taking a look at him right across the broken wall, so the rest of 4 Tribes definitely confident enough to push through because they have already withered 1 member down, so it's 4v2 at the moment.
And they're coming in. 4 players of 4 tries in the same building as E-Arena and 456, whoever these 2 players are, is going floor by floor, taking the careful approach, and now they know where exactly they are. Balak will take the first shot, signaling to E-Arena that they are definitely on the floor below them.
Sure enough, are they going to be able to actually turn the tides around? It's going to be a big question right at this moment. Knocking on towards these corners of the doors while E-Arena having 4, 5, 8 to be able to actually push right through. It is still not really the easiest point of the challenge because you can see that these Tyndall staircase can only maybe fit 2 at a time. So any utilities could come in very, very handy for them to win out the trades.
And now the patience game. Understandably, since they are all in the circle, so maybe that's why they're like, okay, taking the time, being a little bit more patient. But patience had its due. So they will execute their plan really soon, I believe. At the same time, Thordark and Vikings having a fight somewhere else. We'll probably zoom in onto that later on. But right now, we're going to focus on the E-Arena with NC Who taking that support approach from the outside of the building. But because of this is the building, he still managed to get the 1 knock. Okay. So now it's go time for E-Arena.
Yeah, they've managed to put him into the perfect position. Now he's also hitting a lot of damage to Naki. And there we go. Couple of taps as NC Who once again secures second knock and looking for a whole lot more. 4, 5, 6. He's making sure that 4 tries will pay for the action. And now they turn the tides around.
Now they're in a hunt for Lucky, and from the back, it's going to be 4, 5, 6 to punish him, taking out 4 thrice at number 16. You take out my buddy Joker, we take out your entire team.
Wow, that was massive. I mean, NC who major impact. Meanwhile, Woon. Oh no. What just went on? I mean, guy's not even moving at all. So that's just an easy picking for Rig coming from Tribe Aramessi.
And Tribe Aramessi also managed to get 1 elimination point for themselves. And I believe that came from Vikings. Yeah, that came from Vikings. So also a decent start for them as a start, as Tribe Aramessi, one of those teams that needs to collect a little bit more or more points that is, for them to be in a more comfortable zone in the top 16. Vikings, however, playing with 3 players now, they want to secure this high ground. And they're trying to get the best position possible. With 3 players, obviously, the vision will be a bit limited for them.
True enough, and currently MVKE with 76 points. It is definitely a decent hold for now for the side of MVKE. Now that E Arena is kind of trailing right behind, adding another 4 points on the table in order to put them into a pressurized situation. So I'm kind of concerned whether or not if there's going to be any form of major impact coming in from these gentlemen. So we'll have to see about that. Tribe Aramessi claiming one of their own, so it's just going to make things harder for the Vietnamese team, who has definitely been very promising on what they've shown us throughout the course of the past couple of days.
As for Sem9, they need to put in a little bit more promise since they're currently at number 22 with 47 points. Need the points in the back for themselves. While we check out the next phase of the circle, a lot of teams in the middle, but the circle shifted slightly up north, now centered around the area of Power Grid. And Dora, they have the high ground around the area of Power Grid. One of the key positions in this circle.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of teams will be moving all together on this major rotation over onto the North Point. For those who have been around the party, they are not too concerned. Meanwhile, Superman with a beautiful spray takes on to Scam. He's lucky enough to be able to be alive, but he's definitely hightailing out of this situation. It's going to be a big jump shot, though, that is required coming from Superman. How he will spot out Tango and a great for teammates of yours, because I can go all day. And now we will quick reset. Superman once again refocus with an S12K in hand. I believe his bullets are running out from the SP49. That is going to take forever to reload, which is why he's bringing the pain with S12K.
And those amount of bullets are enough for him. Now the rest of Vikings are coming by to finish off the remaining members of Dora. As Pekko will drive away into the sunset. Fullman and 249, long range, a bit ambitious, but that's alright. At least he managed to retreat while he receives a bit of damage. Now Sem9 needs to defend their ground against Talon. One by one, taken out by Talon. Biren needs to come in. Biren, very, very low on health. Praise with his M4, but will still go down. Trexie is there, however, to follow up. And Talon eliminated by Sem9. Sem9 defended their ground.
What a messy trade-off coming in from all corners of the map. I mean, when you have those major rotations, this is what goes on, where teams definitely have to fend for their own ground. So, that being said, it's going to be a call for a major reset. You can see how many teams having yellow names on their side just because of all these fights that's been happening. Haidami does actually get the angle up against Lapar, but is he going to pull the trigger, though? Haidami, I think it's about time, but once again, Bradia, he's going to be over on the top end. So I guess if Horror Esports takes a couple of shots, their position will be compromised.
NC2's position is compromised now. Alter Ego knows that he's there. Sends a lead across, will not connect. Moves into the other building with his trusty M4 and shotgun on the other hand. The X666, however, will be on the ground. 456 on the other side, keeping him hostage, waiting for the other members of our team to come and save him, and here they are on their way.
A great maneuver overall coming from the rest of the arena. Now backing over onto the rest of these other players to really the rest of Outer Ego at bay, holding very defensively, while 4, 5, 6, after taking on that massive fight up against 4 tribes, they're feeling relatively confident on some of all these surroundings, which is why they're really hunkering down, pushing through these members of Outer Ego, and all they really have to do is try to fend them off by responding with nades of their own. Nylon, though, going for some random sprays, just signaling some warning towards the rest of the arena.
Here is 456 sending a nade across. That nade will not connect, but from the side, NC2 comes in, knocking out Nylon. Looking for the other members, 456 shot from the side by Badru, but managed to evade it just in time. Now he has to heal up. While we shift over to Outer Ego's perspective, it's Badru and Alpha, the duo that has to do it right now against E Arena.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of back and forth going on, tree versus tree, it seems, at this moment. Badru, as well as his teammate, just holding on to nades after nades, and I'm quite afraid that these two teams are burning through their resources and not really yielding any form of returns. And see who once again going for a flank. He's been super pivotal in that last matchup up against 4 tribes. Can he do it again? Badru has already seeked out his position, so not as easy as they would like it to be.
Oh, and Badru, long range M249. But oh, okay. On another fight, GLU squad against Team Secret, and GLU squad, they're currently on the roll. But there's also another fight happening here involving Hora Esports and Champions Esports. Man, 3 different fights happening at the same time. That's why we need that mini screen. We could use another third mini screen with all these fights happening as we shift back over to GLU squad.
You know, back in the early days of PlayStation, on certain games, you have 4 split screens if you're playing like racing games, and this kind of feels like it if we could actually get those kind of split. But of course, it is definitely heavy on the production side, so we make do with what we have. Arena now closing right through with the nade actually dropping directly over a KF as we continue on with what's on our screen. It's finding it pretty difficult for GLU to try to reach right through with the arena. Further commits onto this one as they really pounce upon. It is one member knocked out on the feet, and once again Badru holding strong, holding firm, taking 2 members down.
Okay, Badru fighting back, but then again, still lost that fight against E Arena. The final follow-up happens. E Arena survives that one. Now let's see, Team Secret can survive this one against GLU squad as they arrive here. KF with the DBS, and his other team is Stickley with SLK on the other side, and the incoming Noel as well. Typhoon. You're up against 2 players, but oh, 1 knockdown, and now it's a follow-up. Can he at least get another knockdown? Very, very low. Look at the Stickley. Typhoon just to find that right angle, but here comes the rest of Team Secret rushing in.
Wow, they're trading bodies over on the ground, and Team Secret, they got overwhelmed. What on earth just happened right there? I mean, they're just trading shell shots after shell shots, but it is TBS for Hexas that's been able to put another victorious run for the side of GLU as they pocket the rate. 8 points in for E Arena, while over onto the other course. I believe that E Arena, the last we saw, they were having members being shut down. It seems like there's still a member that's alive, BNC Who, while Trix spotting out the rest of Sem9, moving right across the valleys, but this is just a difficult task, even for the likes of Trap Airmosi that has been able to pounce from right behind them. So it's going to be a very defensive hold coming from Sem9 in order to keep themselves alive.
Oh, and without Mika, they'll be playing the rest of the round with 3 players. So the members of Sem9 still on the outside. Now they're facing off against Trap Airmosi, who's on the other side of the hill. And he managed to send 1 player into the circle. That's a marker. While the zone is starting to close on Trap Airmosi, so they have to move forward at some point. Viren is the one representing Sem9 that's still on the outside, but he does have a vehicle together with him. And speak about the vehicle, Trexie on his vehicle will be gunned down by Trix. Eliminated immediately. U-High on the other side. It's a matter of time till they rush in onto U-High. U-High has to find that space, probably to get away now.
How far can they actually go, though? Zios got the Mini 14, so I guess he's being given a little bit more that leeway to just move past swiftly with his vehicle. Gonna be continuing on with the chase, though, as we are looking at Sim. Just by the outskirts, he's being held down by the rest of the members of GLU. Now he's also trading right back, picking up that buggy in order to hightail out of here. Even shots coming from behind, but he is definitely going to be getting a little bit more of that cover fire coming from his teammate, while the rest of Hora Esports now locked in up against RRQ.
And Sleepy taking a bit of time to recover while Supreme comes in to join him. With RRQ closing the gap between them. And now here comes Sleepy, trying to buy enough time, trying to hold them off while his other teammates position themselves across the map. Cellcom DJ Alliance going to fight off them of their own against the GLU squad. Engineer will be gunned down. Noel comes in from the other side as well. Cellcom DJ Alliance, Oleo together with Iftar will be the duo that has to do it, while Ade Luke is calling up for help.
I think Luke, how much more can he actually hold on to? Well, we do have Pekko actually nailing down majority of the members of Cellcom DJ Alliance. I guess the fight did last as long as Cellcom DJ actually wanted, so they will falter behind on those placement points because they drop over onto 11 instead, while Sleepy is hiding in this take clear of smoke just right in front of Lapar. But it doesn't seem like they've been able to go for the firm exchange, so that allows Sleepy to fall back.
Sleepy with this nade, it could be a short range one. See if we can actually land it onto any member of RRQ, but it's Lapar knocking down Supreme as a start. They also need to worry about the other member of RRQ, Berdinia? Man, it's so hard to pronounce that one. But anyway, Supreme will be finished off now, leaving Sleepy with only 20% of health. He needs to reposition himself while Sky is waiting on the other side, calling Sleepy to come towards him. But for Sleepy to come by, Sky needs to do a little bit of work, and he will do so, supporting Sleepy, knocking down one player of RRQ.
Wow, that was a lot of damage being done by Sky yet again. The MVP of the tournament thus far. Now getting pretty much exchanged with Lamar, trying to trade right back, but this two members, too much for Hora Esports to handle.
Well, 4 points collected this round for Hora Esports. He should be still able to hold on to that number one spot. We're moving on to RRQ now. Now, after dealing with Hora Esports, they're dealing with Sem9, who's just right below them. Badinia! Yeah, that will be how we'll pronounce his name. As Firen right below him that's still active. And Firen can still save his teammate.
Yeah, and RQ is just making matters worse for the rest of 7-9. Maybe to salvage on butchering more player names, I'll probably stick with Burn just to be safe. Because I think like I have the same issue where when all the fights break loose, it's like Gardenia, I don't know. But Vampire Esports, they managed to catch one out of Toda, where he's got nowhere else to move. So that's directly to the crosshair of the Thai team.
Oh, here comes a BTR charging onto E Arena. They know they have the main advantage right now after taking out a play of E Arena and 4-5-6. And with that, they made swift work of E Arena, eliminating them at number 8. But still, E Arena managed to score 8 elimination points before they went out.
Is that an auspicious number or what? 8th placement, 8 points. I would still say very good from the side of E Arena. As a matter of fact, it's actually 9 points based on the scoreboard on the right. So I'm kind of confused whether it's actually 8 or not. Run. Meanwhile, good spray coming out of Schweppes. Finally, he's actually putting his real name. So he will be able to secure one more in the back. Vampire Esports on a roll, on a tear, but the rest of BTR have arrived to the scene to flush out Newsy. He's got to fall back, and even from behind, it's going to be Ella to be brought down by Razy.
Oh, and here comes Federalis as well. They have Vampire Esports enclosed within. And now it's going to be Newsy, the final player for Vampire Esports. What can he do about it? Oh, Schweppes is still here. He's still alive. He's shooting from the other side. And they try to fire back. Foxy trying to get Schweppes, but within the smoke, it's going to be kind of difficult. They're just shooting blindly within the smoke while Schweppes is navigating around the smoke itself, trying to get the members of BTR. And Schweppes finally caught up by BTR. And BTR cleanly wins this against Vampire.
That was such a scary squad to just rapping their way through. I mean, BTR, they're on another level of firepower right now, beelining their way, knowing for the fact that the rest of Vampires are just stuck underneath those corners of the net. Now this might just be another exchange with the rest of RQ, trying to emulate what RQ have done to the rest of Empires, but they don't really have all the manpower to actually flush them throughout. All they really have to do is to zone them out completely. So BTR has got a lot more work at hand. Lapar falls back, but he is getting chased by KK. Well, he actually goes in for a 1v1 trade. It is 2 more members still left alive from the side of RRQ.
Oh, here comes RRQ with the Peko charging forward. Razy is picking up his teammate Sata, but he will not have that time. Sata is not being picked up. And now coming down to Razy, defend off against RRQ coming in, and Razy will be eliminated. RRQ wins the fight, bringing us to top 4.
Man, this lobby is getting so sweaty for today. RRQ, the king of kings, now showing how it's done up against BTR. Despite BTR really pulling up all their strength and might, we finally get to see that level of ferocity coming in from all 4 members, just like how they usually do. But that was not enough for them. Trap Arrow is still surviving. They are in one of the best spots possible to try to hold out up against MBKE on the opposite side, and that also involves RQ eventually.
Tyro Messi with this high ground advantage is a good spot for them. They're able to gather information around, at the same time shoot down opponents whenever they see them. Nepeko, he sees Superman though. As cooking up his nade, note that Superman's behind this tree. Superman locks a nade onto Nepeko, but he will not land. Nevertheless, Aqua came in from the other side to finish him off now. We're down to top 3.
So far, Armacy definitely has a superior positioning. They are also locking out some of the members of Sem9. Interesting enough, I mean, Sem9, they don't really get too much involvement, but because of their defensive stance and having the circle to still wrap around the southern side of the quarter, so they have made it into the top 3. As compared to the rest of the teams that had to kind of claw their way out. I'm not speaking about claws here, but well, right, Armacy, I think this is a very good chance for them to actually close out the match with a win because they got the strongest squad strength remaining.
Yeah, 4 players still intact for Trapper Messi with a good position that they have on this high ground. So at this point, we can pretty much say that Trapper Messi, they have the best chance of securing the chicken dinner. Even the stats do show that they have a 46% chance of getting it. But Yuhai will try to deny that, knocking down Venom. But Venom is not out yet though. Rick is on his way to try to save him. Should be able to get there soon. Well, Zayo will keep an eye on to Sem9 as well as RRQ. RRQ coming in. Rick kind of busy. Venom is bleeding up. Off the side, Rick will try to spray them down. He gets one. He needs to reload. Switches to a UMP. But even his UMP is kind of low in bullets. He needs to reload, and unfortunately, he will be punished for that.
Well, they're being kept so busy from both angles, from Sem9 as well as RQ, but that was a good trade being done by the side of Rig. Having some couple of packs down members for the side of RQ. Now RQ has to go in for that reset while they continue on with the hustle. Zayo, so long as he remains over on the top end of the hill, they will be in that firm control. But the problem about being above is that they don't really get those vision onto Peko as well as Lapar, and they're about to advance upwards. So this could be problematic because EST, they kind of separated into 2 different sectors. Rick slowly bleeding out, so he won't be contributing in this fight other than relaying any form of info that he sees.
I wonder if we could see another solo run here, this time by Sem9. We'll wait for that to happen later on, because right now what's happening is that Trapper Messi is going up against RRQ. Lapa will get another point for RRQ, securing their rampage with 10 elimination points. While Yuhai is waiting on the lower ground. And Zio, he knows that he's there, so Yuhai, he does have the circle, does it? Oh, he does have circle, so he has to move forward. Okay, he managed to slide in. He's safe for now.
Yeah, and this is going to be out of the range of Zayo because he has already lost track of the positioning of Yuhai. So down over onto the side of RQ. Matsu actually restock with package. This is going to be pretty huge for Aqua to get all the level 3 gears and maybe a powerful weapon to also work alongside with it. If it's an AWM, then maybe we'll be able to spot Zayo. We'll have to see what's inside the bag. Zayo takes a leap of faith and gets punished by Yuhai.
Okay, are we looking at another solo run here, this time by Yuhai? Okay, hang on, because RRQ, there are 3 players still. And here comes Lapa going up to the high ground, and if he can get up to this high ground safely, it will be a prime position for him. And he will be able to get up there. Okay. Now it's still going to be a 3v war here. Anything can happen. All these teams in the circle while we still have stage 8 coming soon.
Yeah, it's just an interesting turn of events, right, on how RQ have been able to turn the tides up against AST, who seemingly had the control for the entirety of the moment. I'm not too sure if Zayu actually slipped up, or he's definitely intending to make that leap so that he can rejoin his teammate, but that was too risky of a play, and that kind of tipped the favor back towards the side of RQ. So they gotta play it slow, right? RQ, they don't really have too much pressure right now. 10 points already being secured in this top 3. So massive hurdle for the rest of Sem9 as well as AST to see which one of these individuals survive the longest.
But Tricks from Trial Messi is not in the circle now that he has shifted. So the biggest pressure is onto him. Oh, La Paz spot him out. Now it's gonna be Yuhai against 3 players from RRQ. Going to pull off a big clutch here if he can do so. But look at the spread by RRQ as well. The best that Yuhai can do is try to clip them off one by one.
Look at this situation. I don't think they have a clue where Yuhai is currently at. But Yuhai definitely knows that there is somebody up top of the kill. So whether if he's going to go for Lapar first and foremost is going to be the major question. Lapar now serves back over on to his north, so that could potentially be a chance. Remember back in the days where Yuhai used to play in the Indonesian circuit for a little while, and I believe that he's been facing up against some of these guys before. We'll see whether if he could actually pull off a 1 versus 3 clutch, where when he was much younger, well, he's still very young, of course, he used to be the clutch god. I still think that he is one of the clutch masters of Malaysia. So it's time for Sem9 to prove themselves if they want a miraculous chicken dinner.
About 20 seconds till we reach stage number 9, and we know that there's no zone that time. Doesn't have a good view of RRQ with his position, but he surely can hear the audio cue of the incoming buggy. He's trying to find that angle for himself. Okay, now he should be able to see Nepeko, but they are surrounding him. He shoots down to the lower ground. Nepeko is dead. Laporte comes in, jumping from the high ground, and now he needs to manage both sides at the same time. It's a little bit difficult, but RRQ will not let this chicken dinner go.
I just love this hide and seek action as the King of Kings have now found another winning round inside Miramar. The best map performance thus far. So RRQ, they're gonna be looking for that grand final spot with this win.
Oh yeah, RRQ with this chicken dinner. This should put them in a rather comfortable position to be in the top 16. But we'll of course look at the numbers later on. But RRQ coming in with this chicken dinner is a solid chicken dinner for them, considering that they came in with 3 players towards the end, going up against 1 player of Tribal Messi and also Sem9. And with that, they also bring back together with them a total amount of 12 eliminations together. So that's 22 points collected by RRQ.
Yeah, that's really huge. I mean, we saw how explosive this fight actually went from the battle between Vampire Esports as well as BTR. And the pivotal moment of this entire match was when RQ decided to pounce on BTR. Because of them taking out BTR, all that space have been opened up for RQ to actually take control over onto the far eastern corner. And AST, I felt like they were kind of disjointed. They were having few members to focus on RQ, the other few to be taking on Sem9. So that's a little bit more of that wear and tear, which eventually see RQ just surpasses the performance of AST.
Yeah, we'll get to see more of that later in the overall charts, whether they surpass or not. But to the best of my memory, I believe Trapper Messi, they were somewhere at page 2 or maybe even page 3. We get a confirmation later. But we also have to shout out to not only RRQ, but also Sem9 and Trapper Messi for being in the top 3. And also BTR this round, where they had a good run, especially the fight against Vampire Esports. That was pretty sweet.
It definitely is. And overall, from the past two games, we're looking at the Indonesians as well as the Nepalis to be rising up to the occasion. Now we're also including 7-9 to be trailing very closely between some of all these squads out there. Despite, 7-9, I don't think that they have explosive numbers of elimination points in this match. But for what it's worth, you high boy, he's bringing the points in order to keep the hopes and dreams alive for 7-9.
And here we're going to compare the head-to-head between these two players, KF from GLU squad and whoever 456 is. I believe this is a pseudo name from E Arena. 5 eliminations for KF, 3 for 456 damage output. Still famous 456 though, even though he has lesser amount of eliminations. But the one with the most eliminations is Lapar. 6 eliminations, only 499 damage, not the highest. We've seen a lot more than this. But the 6 eliminations brings the best value to RRQ.
Absolutely agree with that. I mean, he went into fights where they would guarantee successes, especially up against BTR that said prior to that, and then just slowly look for any form of all these stragglers when they are on a high ground to slowly pick them off. So very efficient work coming out of Lapar. Also kudos to GLU squad to have KF to be able to really hold those big points moving into this matchup in Miramar, while we see the tandem duo of 456 as well as NC Who to be having a shared total of 6 eliminations altogether.
Yeah, so if we look at some of these numbers as well, again, Lapar, if you compare like the damage, not the highest. But again, it's all about the eliminations collected. Here are the points. RRQ 22 points, 7-9 11 points. They also share the same amount of points as the Tribe of Messi and BTR, all 11 points. On the other end, however, too bad for Team Secret, Alter Ego Champions Esports and Talent Esports not able to collect a single point this round. So among all these teams that did not collect any points, the worrying one is probably Alter Ego. Since the last we saw them, they were at number 17.
Yeah, despite them actually erupting into the battle up against those teams who are just by corners and Martin, I just felt like it was just a lack of conversion. I believe there was some damage done by Badru, but that wasn't exactly enough. Well, we take a look at all these match stats. 3 players bound out to the play zone, therefore only 61 total eliminations. Rick this time secures a decent number on the longest elimination distance, but then again, I would say this is one of the more exciting rounds of Miramar that we've been able to witness so far. For esports, unmoved, over the top, but the biggest movers right now, RRQ, is climbing up and up into the top for surpassing Vampire Esports by 1 point, joining the triple-digit club.
Yeah, so now we have 5 teams with 100 points at least. Coming soon, it could be 4 Thrice, even DRS and Vikings, since the points are not that far. Even Vikings is like 18 points away in the remaining games. Surely they can break that number later on. So these are the page 1 teams that are pretty comfortable in the top 16 for now. On page number 2, this is where we'll see the number 16 team and around that corner. And the points are far for Talent, Face Clan, and Boom Esports. So I wonder what the benchmark will be at number 17 now.
Yeah, I don't really know where to actually draw a line right now because we're seeing a tie between Team Secret, BTR, and also at the same time, 1 point above them is EST as well as E Arena, respectively, where they're all climbing 4 positions all together. So they're kind of leaving some of these guys coming from the other groups that's not playing to be biting some dust right now. 7-9 is also moving up hot as they're about to join in the 60-pointer club. So that's definitely big news for the Malaysian side, with even GLU doing the same.
Yeah, the rise of teams from page number 3. This time it's 7-9, but they need more points to be in the top 16. And before we go on to a break, so, oh yeah, this is the FMVP jersey of the man himself.
Wow.
And it still smells like Satar. Anyway, we'll be heading on to a break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you after this one.
No. Wow. The games just get better and better from every step of the way, and we're moving into our third match of the evening. So, Sir Cloud, I mean, there's just so much to talk about for today. We've seen DRS with that clutch 1v1, and now RRQ, the King of Kings, are back dominating in Miramar.
Oh yeah, so a chicken dinner apiece for those teams in case you just join us. Oof. And teams on page number 3, they have been starting to rise up as well. We did see a good run by Sem9. We did see a good run from GLU Squad 2. So now the race for the top 16 is going to be tight. The points are close. The swaps will happen.
Definitely. And now moving it back into Erangel, I guess this is definitely going to be a little bit of a shift of pace once again, but look at how teams are playing so far. It really feels like they got no holds barred. Well, didn't mean to make it rhyme, but this is how it actually rolls off. With now B and C to be featured in this matchup while Group A takes a break.
Yeah, so we're going to focus B and C. And obviously, we're going to make our predictions next. Maybe somebody from page 3, perhaps? Since they're on the rise now, what's it feeling like?
I'm thinking the same as well. I mean, it's definitely a very tough call at the moment where I still want to be proven by some of all these names out there, like the Savior, which I think they should be at least pressured to be making advancements because all the other teams are already pushing up and up. So I'm just sending my energy to them. So DX for this time.
Production. You picked that too early, but we have no rules in the prediction desk, right? So I'm going to stay true. Right? And I know one of our producers, Astro, is a big fan. So let's bring on DRS.
You even have the DRS jersey. Now, did they ship this from Nepal for you? Or did you just...
Shout out to the manager, Sang, for arranging this for me in a very special edition as well.
Oh man, Sangin, we're buddies, right? I mean, where's mine? I'm jealous right now. So yeah.
Well, you didn't vote DRS, so too bad.
Okay, maybe if I vote for them next game, then I'll be able to get my jersey as well. So beautiful stuff. Did you stole it from them while they were in Kuala Lumpur the last time round, or how does it go?
I would steal Killer Whitey's jersey now. If he ever goes to the bathroom and for whatever reason he takes off his shirt, it's gone.
You don't want to leave that man naked on the stage, don't you? So you better at least swap something for him to wear if that's the case. So great support coming in from our dear casters. And of course, at the very same time, you guys can also support your favorite team, whether it's Horror Esports, DRS, or whoever else out there. Check out their websites. You might be able to purchase some of their merchandise, just like Sir Cloud. I mean, I don't know how Sir Cloud got it. I'm pretty sure he didn't really have to spend time, but let's not talk about that.
Well, I do need to spend on some, so disclaimer, right? Yeah, disclaimer. I might not have them around me. I can't pile up all the shirts around me, you know. This will be a big wardrobe here. But anyway, thank you so much for all the amazing stuff here, given by multiple people across. But also, amazing gameplays are coming up soon. So after this, we're coming back onto Erangel. I wonder if you're going to see an early fight again.
I definitely think that there's always going to be those early fights, but it's more of like who's going to be fighting up against who is going to be the big question that's definitely remaining in our head right now. That E-Arena versus GLU thing might still happen. We don't know. Or have they actually settled the scores just yet? Because this is definitely the kind of group for them to do so, if I'm not mistaken, that they're kind of both on board. So, of course, that being said, when we take a look at the rest of the pack that has been able to really show up good results back in the very first game, of course, DRS got that chicken dinner, right? But following very closely, you saw Point Donkey was part of the equation. And I think today, AST has been on a very consistent run, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, true enough, true enough. And they're doing so far so good in the top 16. Of course, any team wouldn't mind more points and also more glory, more highlight moments for themselves. Irangel, next match. Now, what you mentioned earlier on is going to be pretty interesting for us to observe, right? Whether we will see E-Arena and GLU squad duking out for that garage with that one vehicle, 4 players go in. If it's a knife or not, we'll see if that happens. Let's go, Irangel.
The hit crew coming through. You know what we finna do. Running game, back in play.
And it just gets even more exciting as we progress throughout the matchups here. This is match 21 in the playoff stages. Day 4 here in Turca's Invitational Showdown. This time, the flight path is definitely on an interesting skewer because it starts off from Georgia Pole, a very highly populous area, to be moving directly into the islands of Sanaska. So, as much as we've talked about only having Reigns esports to be interested in the island, I felt that whenever Reigns is not be in this kind of matchup, other teams can also consider taking like areas like Novo Rupnoi. I feel like Novo's kind of losing a lot of love. Where back in the days, Team Secret liked to drop there. Now, even Team Secret likes to move elsewhere. So, definitely, it's been pretty interesting. And this kind of fight path, we might still see that garage warfare. So, keep your eyes peeled out for that.
But if no team's going to give them any love, I do hope that the Circle gives Novo a bit of love. I'm just saying. So, I'm looking at the northern side being a bit crowded as well. Got RRQ there, Vampire, and other overlapping teams that I can't see clearly yet. I guess it's Claw there as well. But we're going to get Trapper Messi on screen now with an early fight with another team. Oh, but mentioning about, well, not really Novo, but mid to the base, there's still a chance that the Circle will go there.
Yeah, very high chance, and that's good news for Refuse and Co. from the side of Reigns Esports. Great shot coming out of the members of AST in order to come up pretty huge in this trade-off, scoring the first point, moving into this matchup where MVKE is stuck within the same compound.
Sitting at the corner, now everyone's playing the Patience game. But we do have a nade being cooked up by Vikings on the other room. And Zio will be waiting on the second floor in case anyone tries to rush up. But both sides still playing this kind of chill for now. Nobody wants to go out early. If not, it will be a rather long wait till the next round. So everyone's playing this carefully still. Looks like a bit of a standoff for now.
Yeah, I would say that the stakes are higher for the rest of MVKE because they're on the third page. AST so far have been super consistent. And that consistency definitely shows with them carefully, surgically removing one of their player already. Now, I think what's really tough for the side of MVK is that I don't really see too much weaponry that they're holding other than Tins having pretty much an assault rifle in hand. So it's got to really put that to good use. We're also hearing some pot shots coming in from the side of hospital grounds. So both sides can't afford to stay for far too long.
Oh, but Vikings actually lost one player. I guess that happened while we were still at the flight map. So it happened really, really early. First blood secured by Trapper Messi. Now both sides, if we were to look at their utilities and their ammo, not that much yet. Since it's still very early, they probably didn't have time to truly loot up. But they also need to take note that they're about 1,500 meters away from the circle. So this fight cannot take too long.
True enough. Focusing on to break, ex-team member of Team Secret. On his run with Team Secret, I dare say that he's definitely have done an impeccable job. So this transfer to me definitely looks very interesting for the side of MVKE. Zio's losing a little bit of that patience. He's holding on to just a pistol. Of course, he does have an AR in his hand, alongside with the S686. Sometimes all these shotgun names really goes through my head. I mean, just a whole bunch of numbers out there. Well, to be identifying it easily, some are called double barrel. One is just a single pump, And of course, you got the double barrel shotgun DPS. That said, Trix now wants to also join in the party as he's trying to traverse right across, while Dodak also receiving some of all the explosives from the side of Fury while he charges through it. Kind of met his old maker right there, right between his eyes, as the rest of the members of Claw have been able to fight back. Dodak crashes out very early.
Wait, you blink it, you miss it moment. Semna actually won against Torak, and Torak out. So leaving them at number 16 now by the edge. Okay. But they're number 16 here, but they are still last we check on third base, so they need to make a big comeback in the following round. Anyway, coming back onto Vikings versus Trapper Messi. Now they're rushing into this room, turning to the right side, while them punished by Rick with the DBS gameplay. And now Trix is taking that proactive approach, but being stunned out. Rick now, no DBS, trying to fight out against the other members of Trapper Messi, but at the end of the day, it is Trapper Messi standing tall against the Vikings.
Yeah, that was a really clean ordeal. Took them a while, but nonetheless, it's 4 straight points. No members falling right through, while the rest of Empire Esports have been able to hear all the shots coming in, hoping to wrap around the rest of these members of AST. But despite them knowing for a fact that, the traits have already been dealt, and AST didn't really have to go for heavy reset other than Zio being damaged overall. So I can still say that AST, they're pretty much ready for the next one.
Empire Esports, that is. But for the rest of the other teams, they're like, okay, we ain't got no time for fights. Let's just focus on to getting closer to the circle, since this could be a tricky one. It could go to the main peninsula or maybe even the main to the base. So that's why we can see like some of these teams playing by the bay, like for Sem9 and also the Xavier. So if the circle shifts anywhere, at least they will have easy access. Even for DRS, if the circle goes to the main to the base, they can still take a boat to access it. So that's a good spot in Primos that they have locked in. While in South George, still, Trapper Messi here. Now they have Vampire Esports as a visitor. Claw, also kind of interested in South Johor Pool. I guess they want to get those exit frags.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these teams are making firm decision, right? Because of how trashy that circle is. There's only like what, 40% of land for you to play back in stage 1, all the way down south. So if you're not really keen onto battling for those kind of positions, you might as well secure those points, which is why they're pretty locked in. Speaking of which, Boboho, great sharpshooting with that Scar L in order to remove one player out of AST. More to be done, but AST can't really sit too comfortably despite them actually securing those 4 points up against Vikings Esports. So Zio, now that he gets to heal up, he still have to keep himself pretty much well stocked up because he's only got like what, 2 first aid. They're pretty far away from the zone, and if you can see from the mini map, that's like 1 kilometer away at the very least for everybody to actually get into the zone.
Yeah, and they're not really letting go of each other. Doesn't help that on the outside is Claw waiting. So I wonder how this gridlock will stop. But on the minimap, it seems like Claw, they moved away. They probably thought to themselves that it's not worth it to wait. So it's now between Trapper Messi and Vampire Esports, like what they're going to decide to do. Okay, now we get a better view. So Claw is still somewhat on the outside of South George, that is. But what's more important is going to be the circle. Are we still going to get a 50-50? Oh, man! We're going to get a similar circle like the one we saw on day 2.
Wow, this time it just further confirms it for the side of Reigns Esports, right? Top already in the best position possible. The only other challenger is Void Donkey that's going on that 2-2 split that has been arriving over onto the south side of the port. So we'll have to see if they will actually tussle for a little bit more of that control. Because right now, there's barely any room. The new shift forces everybody to get into the island. Talent Esports at least has this hovercraft. I believe they've already arrived on the corner of Novanoy. So this isn't too much of a concern for the rest of Talent, because for the rest of the other teams, okay. I mean, XAZ, if he's going to drive like that, I'm going to be concerned for them. But overall, Boom Esports, they're the next one to also join in the party a little late. But is this going to be a big setup because Yummy's camping on the bridge?
Hoping for a team to pass by, but based on our view, no other team so far. So he's still waiting it out. But Tony K is not waiting though, it took us 0. So the fight continues on in South Jogopu. Tony K will finish him off. And the rest of Vampire Esports still trying to locate the other members of Tribe or Messi here.
Yeah, Vampire Esports so committed in this one. I'm not really too sure if it's ever going to be worth it now that you're really spending so much resource at the very same time. So I don't really see too much of a clear victory despite them, burning a lot of time. Only 1 point so far. Fearon does actually catch over onto Peko as the rest of Step 9. They want to hustle them through because some portion of the Fair Pier is still covered in the zone.
Here comes the nade across. By D-Xavier. D-Xavier defending the ground against ASI-8. Casanova will be knocked down. Parajim wants to finish him off with the nade. The rest of ASI-8, they are on the other side. I wonder if they really want to come in or they're going to find it not going to be valuable for them as they would rather focus on to getting into the circle instead. But anyway, for these Xavier, it's not only ASI they need to worry of. They need to worry of Sem9, who's currently still their neighbor.
Yeah, at least they are trying to clear off their direct threat at the very least for them to be able to hold out inside Fair Pier. Sem9, they could be ever ready to pounce once they do see those names lighting up on the screen coming from the side of RQ, but they're not going to allow that to happen at all. And at the same time, Sem9 has already lost 2 members throughout those kind of exchanges. And boy, oh boy. Are there going to be enough votes for them to actually testify if they're not going to use the bridge? It really seems like it is going to be entirely for the rest of Reigns Esports to take over control while we continue on the fight. It's going to be Red Face that takes all apart. The Indonesians go at each other.
Well, here comes RRQ. They want to bulldoze their way through, but Sem9 is also around the corner still. And RRQ arriving in front of Claw. Bobo, who is pretty low. The Peko will charge in. Picking up the snake, trying to gather as much information as possible before lobbing it across. And they managed to land a bit of damage onto Red Face though. Red Face with his own nade as well. Sends it onto the Peko side, but the Peko moved away. He's fine for now.
Yeah, it's just an all-out brawl coming in from the side of Claw Slayers, where they're pretty much segregated by the Pure itself. Whoever gets to win this one gets to claim that hovercraft, or I mean, that's actually a glider that's pretty much on top of that runway. That nade looking to be very close, and it hits directly to the face of Red Face.
And the Peko circles around. Probably wants to secure that elimination point against Red Face, but not making that approach yet as he waits for his other teammates to get into position. But Xavier and Sem9 fighting it off for their space to get into the circle. Something that we kind of expected though. Oh, Lamborghini is managing Vampire Esports as well. Okay, here comes Vampire Esports. They're somewhere around this area.
Yeah, and really being stopped by the tracks while Boom Esports is also pinning down members on the side of BTR. Wonder whether that is actually happening because Crazy's already being taken off that list while Bird but the body end of it all while Peko has arrived to see catching on to 2 members of Claw Slayers. For that long range range, the rest of Claw tries to drive their way past this area while Birdia is out to actually hold out. It's only him left on the side of RQ where he has to play it safe. If they have kept count, Claw Slayers might just be full sending it, but take a look at the back. They're also receiving heavy casualties, so they have to really keep them up really quickly because there's only 40 seconds before stage 3 closes.
Oh man, time is not on their side though. Look at the blue, it's arriving soon. And we're talking about stage 3 moving to stage 4. Vampire Esports, they're not out of it yet with Newsy still here. With Face receiving damage from the blue. They still have some space to move forward though at the dock, but that's going to be their last space on the main peninsula. Everything else is going to surely end at the military base. Newsy, they're trying to figure out how he's going to deal with the Xavier. Gets into his buggy. maybe he'll just ignore Xavier and focus on the crossing the bridge now.
Yeah, this circle is just so crazy. When we take a look at that leaderboard over on the right-hand side of the screen, more than half of the teams are actually battling over onto the blue zone. Nuzi now committing as well up against the rest of Sem 9. When I say rest of Sem 9, there's only 2 players. Medkit now being popped from the side of High Boy, while we are seeing all these players struggling to actually get by. Venom still by the edge, though. He's trying to hold out against 2 members of the Savior, while Reigns Esports having Zio overlooking over onto the top end of the hill, playing the Kingmaker at the moment.
ASI-8 safely arrived on the way to the base. The moment they arrive, they have Reigns Esports, aka APG, also passing by. But they are very familiar with mid to the base. They should be able to position themselves well. Coming back onto the area of Ferry Pier, Vampire Esports now facing stage number 4 of the blue. Nuzi has 3 first aids left, make that 2. Yuhai in front of him. Hopefully he has enough time to at least win this fight. Or maybe Yuhai will outlast him by healing. And Yuhai is out of first aids as well.
Yeah, he's got to really force some maneuvers right now. He's got 4 frag grenades. He will be putting it to good use before he actually drops out. So ASI-8, next one on the chopping block, it will falter on number 14. While FaZe Clan has been able to once again go for the pin up against the rest of BTR. Uzi's taking a while, getting himself healed up. He knows that it's a battle of attrition, and there goes Yuhai and the rest of Sem 9.
And on the other side, teams starting to come into mid to the base. As for Claw, okay, they're not out of it yet. Now they have RRQ. Wait, RRQ? Here too? Wow. All right. Interesting to see how many teams have not made it into mid to the base, but Red Face made it happen. Now they should have an entry into mid to the base itself.
Yeah, the last we saw, they were pretty much locked up against each other, and they definitely identified that Burden was all alone after that long trading with even the Savior members to try to hold out majority of BTR. BTR that with one, while the rest of them are just crashing right through. Down to Gante. Can he actually hustle them out of this control room? Well, he is definitely handling it perfectly. Gante wipes them all off the floor.
And DRS secures their position. But next to them is now Federalis. Federalis alone, though, the final player for BTR. Unless he can lob a beautiful grenade into DRS, then perhaps he can come up with something big. But Claw, no boat means they have to swim across. And if you swim across, this might happen. Top will play the fishing game, and he'll be happily on this hill, just tapping away onto whatever targets they can see moving.
That's right, and they're already doing a lot of massive damage over onto the members of Claw Esports, despite up till now, Reigns have yet to actually score those points just yet. Zio, however, does actually secure the first one as he will go ahead for the takedown. The problem with this is that once they deep dive, they need to come back up for air very quickly, or else they will just lose a lot of health bars. If you look at the update though, DRS from position, they are taking a lot more of the ground control. APG now finds themselves over on the edge. Well, sorry, excuse me, that's Reigns Esports.
Well, Reigns Esports, APG, starting to converge now. Anyway, still playing the fishing game. Top knows that somebody is still in the water somehow, but now he has to shift his attention to the Xavier with Paragin passing by, parking himself just below Top. Oh, but Top has to be careful. Who's shooting him from the side? Who is it? Oh, it's Delta.
Wow. Perfect angles coming in from DRS. Now that kind of forces even the likes of Reigns to be hugging by the corners of the shore. So Chama and the rest of DRS, they are in such a firm position. If it does shift towards the south, I might even see them winning again.
Well, who knows, right? Right now they have secured themselves a decent position. Seems to be on the clear from other teams. But the Xavier only left with Paragin, and with the fact that Reigns Esports, they know that he's here. If the circle doesn't favor him, he will have a hard time moving away.
True enough, we've been staring over on to Paragin for quite a while now. the rest of Reigns Esports, they're not gonna be letting him slide off as freely as he wants to. I think that APG, Reigns Esports, definitely know that he's kind of stuck down there. They don't really have to pay too much of attention until he once again redirects those shots. But on the other corner, I really do wonder what's going on, especially on the bridge if any team were to actually make their way across.
Okay, let's see where this nade will land. Oh, that's a bit too far. I don't think Top knows that Parajin is just below him. He knows that Parajin is somewhere there, but doesn't know that it's just right below. So that's why he lobbed his nade like across. Well, he'll probably find that out sooner or later. But with the fact that he knows that Parajin is still there, he will always be alert of somebody at his back. While that's happening, we shift over to DRS, dealing with Talon from afar instead of Gante. Trying to get more members of Talon. One of their players currently knocked. But because of this tree and because of the compound, it's really not helping DRS getting a good clear view. But Killer YT gets one.
Oh, there we go. Opening up the account while the rest of the Talon tries to really hold through the accounts. Starting to look a little bit more like a fortress as we are already looking at a member to be able to save up done very, very swiftly, while XZZ has received the whole brunt of the damage coming from the clip from Kill YT.
FaZe Clan. Time for them to get into action as they approach the circle. Coming from the side. Now Talon. They not only have DRS looking at them, they also have FaZe Clan looking at them. Oh man. Okay, let's check out the next phase of the circle now. Who will be favored by most likely Point Donkey? They surely will get it since they're in the middle of the circle, but shifts slightly towards the left side, with DRS is also in it, together with Reigns Esports. And as expected, Parajin does not circle. Time for him to come out with Shell.
And so far, he's definitely thinking about those angles. Parajin has got to really have a timely pop. And that actually clips onto both Zio as well as Top. So great work coming from Parajin. Where exactly is going to be the rest of these other parties, because they have yet to move into this direct area of location. Just giving just about enough room for respect for Reigns Esports while DRS goes for that domination. 5 points already being secured. Now we move into our top 5 run. Canary arrives to the scene, quickly takes out YBF, and even spots out Axel through the grass.
And who else can FaZe Clan find? But Killer YT finds Dewey. Axel somehow still in the game. He does have the circle. What he does have the circle right now is just in case that DRS gatekeeping them from coming in. Shooting from afar. Try to stop them at their tracks. On the other side, Point Donkey, we can see a movement by them. They're heading towards FaZe Clan as well. FaZe Clan rushing in onto Axel. And they will finish off Axel in a 2v1 fight.
Yep, now down to all these 4 members out there. Reigns Esports slowly being battered and bruised by members of DRS. I believe that was to be Chama to be able to pin one member down. Now the rest of FaZe Clan, they are drawing in close up against DRS. The nade, though, actually lands onto the members of FaZe Clan while they are trying to create a little bit more of this widespread in order to not all fall to the grenades.
Killer YT gets Canary. And Red Bull taken out by Zeta. Looks like FaZe Clan, they're not having a good time. 2 teams focusing onto them. Canary still down on his knees, but Joey and Shopper will be the duo that needs to save him or win the fight around them. Zeta knocked out by Killer YT.
Bring down Killer YT yet again, and he's definitely looking for a whole lot more now, going up against the rest of the members of FaZe Clan. Only residing inside the smoke bridges that they've actually created thus far, while the rest of DRS is hoping to do exactly the same as it draws to a close. 1 minute or less. That's where all these teams will be super clumped up, and we're getting closer and closer to finding out who the winner is. While Chama gets another catch, and that's 1 member down for Zada AST.
Okay, the fight still continues on with Canary knocked out by Potato. The IGL of Point Donkey. While Reigns still staying clear of this fight for now, but Zul is on his knees while Chama's looking at top. So when if Top wants to save Zero, he has to come down from that top of the hill, so it's going to be a bit difficult with a crosshair pointing at him. The fight continues on here, the three-way fights. FaZe Clan positioning themselves, going towards the area where Canary is at, and they're going in for the save. Can they save him? Oh no, they can't. They can't. Just too many crosshairs around. Chopper gets Potato back.
Yeah, that was just really nasty shots coming out of the members of FaZe Clan. Finally, they did manage to bring one member down. So it's down to Shopper QQ. As he does notice that the entirety of DRS is just right above. So did they actually pick the right maneuvers early on? Well, one could definitely argue. While YT now relying on those smokes, preparing up Gante at the very same time. Great damage to be done, and this could very well be another DRS round now that they still have all 4 members still alive.
This game is now going to be even tighter with the circle closed down. FaZe Clan eliminated number 4, 5 eliminations thanks to DRS. DRS looking for the next target. Now they're going to put focus onto Point Donkey. Knocking down one player is going to be Gante. One more still active. It's Potato, the IGL or Point Donkey. Wants to try to save his teammates, but he can't. It's just so difficult with Gante putting a lot of pressure. DRS on a rampage right now. 10 eliminations. This could be a double for DRS.
Could very well be. I mean, you definitely blessed them by flexing out the jersey early on, and now they're absolutely showing up. At the very same time, take a look at the rest of DRS's members, other than Killer YT that we've been hyping about. Gante, Chama, they also have contributions into this round overall. Well, we'll take a look at Point Donkey. This time they crumble at Turca, but still, decent points across the table.
Oh, okay. Knocked out the Chama by Zil from APG, aka Reigns Esports. Man, the name is just messing up my brain. Anyway, yeah, so Zil somehow gets saved. But oh wait, the molly came in just like that, and DRS scores a double chicken dinner today, back to back.
Beautiful stuff coming out of the squads that has seen Primes and also Tribulation. DRS absolutely well deserving of this chicken dinner moving into match 21.
Also, finally, production got their prediction right, so they got off the mark. Yay! And it came from one of our producers, a favorite team, Astro, as well. And if you notice, Astro's DP, it also has the colors of DRS. Just saying, okay? It just shows that he's a big fan of DRS. But anyway, 2 chicken dinners today for DRS. This will surely propel them onto page number 1. Now it's a matter of looking at how many elimination points did they get at the end. I'm sure it's more than 10 since that was the last we saw. And as a confirmation, it is 12, another 22 points for DRS.
Yeah, we definitely see Gante to be the ones activating very early in the first couple of stages, and then late game it was all about this tandem duo of Chama as well as Killer YT. Sometimes you could even argue that Killer YT may not always need certain backing at the very same time, so this team definitely brimming with that level of confidence, while Gante barely takes any form of damage at all, while we also did see majority of all these players tanking out the blue zone, so good job for the side of Gante to be able to just, hold on for himself. While plenty of knockouts, of course, not everything gets converted, so they definitely got to try it even harder next week or even later today.
Well, but if you do remember as well, DRS at some point, they were a page 3 team. So the theme continues here, the rise of teams from page 3, including DRS themselves. Besides DRS, FaZe Clan, also a page 3 team by the way, and Reigns Esports, also a page 3 team. DX, also a page 3 team. Okay, the narrative continues here. Page 3 teams coming up. This is going to be an exciting race.
Definitely. I mean, overall, they definitely know that there's definitely high stakes involved, and you don't want to be the one lagging behind because the world is watching. So, overall, DRS, they're definitely going to be pushing all the way through. Reigns Esports, though, this is definitely the start of something really special, looking at how they've been able to really gain that control inside Sanaska military base. Well, still more to be done later on. So Base Clan, D-Saver, we've definitely known them to be super feisty as a punch. We'll get to see that once again later on. While Chama gets compared to his own teammate, Yante.
Well, who else can you compare with, right? You have to compare like a player from another player from the same team, from the best team that is in this round. So both DRS players, Shama, Gante 2, eliminations for Shama, Gante 3, and for Shama, he did a little bit more work. But the one that did the most work of them all is Killer YT again. 2 times MVP today. 7 eliminations, 1,195 damage. And on day number 1, he was actually the MVP for day 1. So now with 2 MVPs on his name, who knows, he could have caught up to Sky.
It's a big baby, though. I mean, Sky has been super consistent day in, day out. So the last we check out of the RS members, I definitely do think that Kill YT is kind of somewhere on top of that list as well. While we're also looking at big improvements coming from you, High Boy, as well as Viren to be taking 4 points as well as 3 points individually.
Yeah, so 2 players from Sem9, also a team from Page 3. Just gonna highlight that since that's something that we want to keep a lookout for, the rise of teams from Page 3. So Sem9 this time, despite them not able to get into the mid to the base, they're still able to put up a good amount of elimination points, make that 7 to be exact. The double-digit club is DRS and FaZe Clan, 22 points, 10 points respectively, with Raze Esports 9 points, D-Saber 7 points as well. On the other end, however, another Page 3 team, Toda, needs to do a lot better than 0 points.
Yeah.
Vikings, they're a Page 1 team, so they should be fine.
If we actually do the math right now, I'm not even sure if Todak still stands a chance. Like, if for them to be able to fight for the playoffs, I think like they need, I don't know, 2-3 chicken dinners maybe, or elimination points that are quite the equivalent of what I just mentioned out. So looking at the rest of the pack, I think that we're definitely having a very healthy league thus far, as we will conclude things with the match stats. This is a very treacherous circle. I'm just surprised that some teams will have been able to make it out alive, even despite the circumstances. So the rest of the numbers, pretty stock standard, other than having more total knockouts as compared to the total limbs. So pretty much a lot of these teams will be sharpening some of their firepower. They want to just spend some time in the range. Now, big moment here. DRS immediately moves into the top 3, knocking down both Cellcom DG Alliance and also Vampire Esports.
Wow, hello to the top 3 and also the 100-point club. 107 points collected by DRS after that chicken dinner. We also would like to welcome RRQ as well, joining the 100-point club here with 103 points. So next we'll be looking at 4 Thrives and Tribe Eremisi for them to climb up to the 100-point benchmark. I mean, if you're 100 points by now, you're pretty comfortable in the top 16. Speaking of the top 16, the one closest to the border right now is Boom Esports. Even we can say talent, since there's only 1 point difference between them.
Yeah, it's just so scary. I mean, just any given moment where you slip up, you definitely know that you're already going to lose that position overall. So Boom Esports, they got to once again claw their way out of the rut, while we're also looking at improvements coming from the side of the Savior, just keeping maintenance and just a few points below the Savior. We're looking at Raze Esports. So of course we only sung praises about them so far. I want to see them going for even more down the stretch. While Sem9 have also had significant level of growth, but overall, at 22 onwards, do you think it is actually too far to actually get more done? Well, I guess I've been yapping a whole lot, which is why you need the jersey to cover your eyes for a little bit.
Oh yeah, this is to the Gurkhas of Nepal, DRS. While we chill right now, we'll be taking a short break and more action after this from DRS and also the other teams. We'll see you guys after the break.